270 in Montgomery County. It's already spanning across 270 up into Frederick County. And so these are the places you need to kind of worry about. But immediately we need to worry about folks on the west side of 15. That's where the real danger is in terms of where this storm could cause some damage. So we're going to zoom in, and we're going to kind of go right in here, okay? So there's 15, and look at the lightning. It's always an indication that the storm's getting healthier or certainly maintaining its strength. Martinsburg just had a strike. Now it's on the east side of 15. It looks to me like they trimmed this a little bit, Caitlin. It looks, I think it's less, it's more narrow, kind of headed toward Martinsburg, and including Elmer and Poolesville, and it goes until all the way until 7 o'clock. So it is certainly the strongest storm we've seen, no doubt about that. So we'll zoom back out. It's almost a line now from Frederick, you know, across 270 and 70 all the way down 15 into Leesburg. It's almost a pretty big complex, if you will, of a storm, and it's also another severe threat, another tornado warning up to the north of us in Baltimore. All right, this goes until 7 o'clock. Let's go in here again. Okay, and so if you're in like this area, Barnesville and Thompson's Corner, you're not under the warning yet, but you need to take cover because at the very least you're going to have some strong winds. Jeff, what do you see for the winds now? Like where are you most concerned with the winds?
I'm most concerned with really that western edge of the warning, kind of right where you see it kind of cone down there just to the north of Leesburg. I think that is where we do have a really solid velocity couplet. And when we say velocity couplet, that's where we see those winds flowing toward the radar and away from the radar, indicating possible rotation within this storm. Again, right now, this is just a radar identified possible tornado from the National Weather Service, but where you see kind of that little bit of a notch topper just to the north and east of, just to the south of Waterford, really, that's where we're seeing that really strong indication on velocity.
Right. And they did trim it a little bit. So at Leesburg, you're not under the tornado warning, but boy, I would take cover, certainly. But you are, if you go north of Leesburg on 15, you know, back up toward Point of Rocks, this is the warning area. It includes Elmer, and it includes, again, it spans a couple of counties. It expands into Loudoun County and then across the river into Montgomery County. I'll go back out. We'll track this again. It seems like it's moving a little north of due east, which is a different direction than the storms were earlier today. They were moving essentially northeastward. It's moving a little different direction right now. So we're going to put a little cone on this, okay? And we'll kind of stretch it out here. We'll make it a little further north like that. Okay, so Barnesville 643, that's like now, okay, you're getting some rain. Darnestown at about 654. This is not a track of the tornado, but a track of the thunderstorm. We have a live picture from where? Lansdowne. Oh, Lansdowne, we got a live picture from Lansdowne. There you go. Oh, that's quite a
yeah, Topper, the tightest rotation right now is just about to cross 15, right near Temple Hill Farm. Okay. If that's something that sounds familiar, Fabilio Cellars, really just to the east of the Raspberry Falls Golf and Hunt Club. And again, Topper, like you've been saying, this is just about as serious as it gets for a tornado warning. Everyone within that warned area needs to seek shelter immediately. Okay, so here we are so there's 15. So you're concerned right in this area. Yes, exactly. Okay. Just about to cross over 15, where you can kind of see that shading where the orange gets a little bit lighter in between those two areas of deep red. Right. That inflow notch, like we call it, is where I think there is possible rotation with that storm. Okay, let me see if we can see it here. Let's see. And Topper, I would even zoom in a little bit closer there on 15. We've got some streets that might ring a bell for folks, especially if they do have loved ones in the area. All right, so. Oh, okay. Well, we're full. Look at that cloud. That's incredible. Yeah, that is a really solid funnel cloud. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it. That is concerning. That is very concerning. So
right now, guys, just so we're clear.
Yeah, that's live.
This is live. Lansdowne in Loudoun County, where you are looking at what appears to be the formation of a funnel cloud.
Yeah, and right where we see that live camera is right where we're seeing that really tight rotation just to the east of 15, south of Luckett's.
Okay, south of Luckett's. Okay, okay. That, I mean, that is.
So why don't we, if we can, keep that live image up, but also bring radar back on so Topper can take folks street level and show them where this potential tornado is?
Yeah, let me go back out just a little bit here. So this is 15, and again, we are north of Leesburg. There's White's Ferry, and this is what we're kind of concerned about right in this area. Go back to cross over 15, really. This scan's probably about a minute old. So that's where we're seeing the potential for some rotation. And this is, again, something we've not seen all day. We didn't see this at all in the other storms. So here we are. Okay, you can kind of see a little rotation there. We're looking for couplets. We're looking for essentially winds to go away from the radar and into the radar. And I guess I don't think it's as pronounced here as it is on radar scope, but I mean, I'm seeing something here just to the west of 15 about to cross over. There's the latest scan.
Yeah, and I mean, Topper, you can even see with that live image that seemingly funnel cloud does look a little bit tighter. It's definitely not as broad of rotation as it was prior, but right there on 15 would be a potential tornado.
Yeah, please, you got to definitely take this seriously, because this is more than likely where it is. We'll zoom in a little bit. Got to get rid of the velocity here. We are looking at the potential for, at the very least, 50, 60 mile per hour winds. I'm going to zoom back out for a second. So this is what we're looking at right now. And again, that is Loudoun County into Montgomery County. The storm itself extends pretty far north, though, up into Frederick. So it's still a big storm. We'll zoom in a little bit more here. And
yeah, Topper, the National Weather Service now calling this a radar-confirmed tornado.
Radar-confirmed tornado. Okay, so please take cover if you're in this area. This just updated again. This just came in on the scan. So if you're around 15, again, it's north of Leesburg. This is where you have to really take cover. And also across the river, because the storm's moving and rotating across the river. So it's going to go into Montgomery County and maybe even clip Martinsburg as well in West Virginia. So this is the dangerous storm right here, north of Leesburg. Yes, you got heavy rain in Leesburg, but in terms of the winds, it's right around between the lightning bolt and 15. So Martinsburg, get ready. Elmer's, get ready. You're in the warning area as well. And Poolesville, get ready. Did you see that just pop up? That's latest lightning strike. So we've got some big time indication that this is indeed a tornado. We have it. So no witnesses yet, but we think this is on the ground, and it goes again until 7 o'clock, and it at the very least will produce some very, very strong winds. We don't see any hail in it, but we do see the strong winds. We do see the heavy rainfall, and if it looks weird and eerie out there, we showed you that picture a minute ago. It's because the storm's pretty high in the atmosphere and pretty dense, and it's blocking a lot of the light, and that's kind of what gives you that eerie green sort of color, which is always a bad sign. Let me zoom back out a little bit here, and I want to just take you through the tracking of this. And if you're in that area, if you're in Poolesville, you need right now to take cover. That is a definite. Okay, you need to take cover now, because we're looking at the Doppler radar indicated, and that's a pretty strong sign that indeed is a tornado. And again, Loudoun County, Montgomery County, until 7 o'clock. And we'll watch this and see if they extend it northward. In other words, farther into Montgomery County, let's say, and out of Loudoun County. So we'll see if they do that. We are looking at the potential for strong winds, heavy rain. Some flooding is possible with this storm. We saw the rainfall rates, pretty good, about 2 inches per hour. All right, we'll zoom in a little bit. There's the storm. I didn't want to zoom in that far. Let's go back out. Leesburg, you just have heavy rain, but the wind couplet is up in this area, headed for Poolesville, really. I mean, it's moving northeastward, and not at a very good.
And if we can take that image full again, that live camera from VDOT, I think it confirms what we're seeing on radar, that funnel cloud has lifted. The storm not looking as tight as it had. You can see such a difference from just a few minutes ago when we did have that confirmed tornado on the ground. Thankfully, this storm is weakening.
Isn't that cool, Foster? Did you see that? Remember, we had the picture, and the storm went down to the ground and kind of went into the horizon, and now it's above the horizon. Still a pretty crazy storm, but that's seeing is believing. So that would tell us the storm is weakening a little bit. Still a strong storm. Very
strong. And even worth mentioning, Top, and going back to radar and showing folks the storms just to the north of it, as you mentioned, this has kind of formed a line now extending back into Frederick, because those storms also packing some really powerful wind. Not rotating, but still packing some really strong, likely damaging wind from Frederick all the way down towards Ballinger Creek, Adamstown. What
are you getting on the wind velocities on here?
In those storms, nothing more than in 30-40, but
30-40, okay.
And it also doesn't look like there's any precipitation happening anymore in Lansdowne, where that funnel cloud looks to have loosened up a bit, right?
Yeah, I think it has moved just to the north and the east of them, away from 7. Yes, I think that's a fair statement. This is a pretty. It is kind of like a line of storms. It's kind of filled in. It extends past Frederick and over 70, and then back down into Montgomery County and also into Loudoun County. I'll put a little fan on it. And again, this is tracking the storm, okay, not the actual tornado itself. So it's going to track the storm, where the storm is going to go, and it's a pretty healthy little storm. I mean, it really is. And we're going to bring it. I'm going to bring it almost due east, because it's going to ride the front. So Mount Airy 652, Rockville 709, and by that we mean heavy rain will arrive at that time, and some strong gusty winds will arrive at that time. To Columbia at about 734, Bel Air at about 824 as it moves up toward the Baltimore area. So that's the track on it right now. But again, we're more concerned with the actual warning, which is continuing until 7 o'clock. Again, we'll see if they're going to extend this into, farther into Montgomery County. Right now, there's the warning. So Poolesville, you're in the warning, okay? You are definitely in the warning, no doubt about that. And we're looking at the potential for damaging winds, maybe some flooding. Rainfall rates are 1 to 2 inches per hour. And as it moves past Poolesville, I mean, even north of Germantown, crossing 270, somebody on 270 that's trying to get home, maybe to Frederick or Clarksburg, I'd tell them to stop. I'd tell them just to wait for a second, because I think we're looking at the potential for some heavy rain and some strong gusty winds, as you go up 270. Again, that's a pretty good line. This activity is gone, and we're going to watch this tonight as we go through the next few hours, because that could develop into not so much severe weather, but storms with heavy downpours. And that's our big concern. Remember, we're under a flood watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And that has always been our biggest concern. We did say tornado was possible, and well, there you go. We've had 3 warnings, but this one we think probably will confirm.
Chopper, I would head up to that storm by Barnesville, just north of Barnesville. It's showing some sneaky signs like that.
Sneaky. Okay, hang on a second. Let's go up to Barnesville.
Just to the north and east of where that warning is.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you. Did not mean to do that. Okay, all right, stand by. Is it showing rotation or just strong winds?
It's showing strong winds, but kind of starting off a similar path to what we were tracking before that storm in Loudoun County got a tornado warning.
Okay. Oh,
and there's that new warning.
There's that new warning. Bingo. Okay, so now we have a new warning, and this one goes until, Chris, when does this one expire? I don't have it on the
7:30.
7:30. So now we have this one until 7. This is a very large warning. So it's holding together, even though, I mean, they do pulsate. They will go down and kind of weaken and then intensify again, especially in this area. It's hard to keep them, going full bore for 10, 20 miles. But look at how big this warning area is. This is crazy. So it includes Damascus, Germantown, Poolesville. We've talked about Poolesville for a while. You should take cover. If you're in Germantown, you should take cover. If you know someone going up 270 and maybe they haven't left the office and they're going to Germantown or going to Clarksburg or going up to Frederick, no, they've got to just stay in the office for another half an hour or so, because this goes until 7:30. And this is, now what my hunch is, they're going to probably narrow this scope a little bit, but that's a pretty big warning. It covers a lot of area from Montgomery County. Essentially, it covers almost the northwest half of Montgomery County. And this is still in effect. This was the original tighter warning that goes until 7 o'clock. So this is the one that we might see some damage with this. I mean, I'm going to go into the Poolesville area and then maybe into Barnesville. Barnesville should pop up here shortly. Yeah, there's Barnesville. So Caitlin said there's some strong winds up here and maybe some rotation.
Yeah, definitely showing some better signs of rotation. We're seeing more of that wind going to and against radar.
Okay.
Not as tight, not as significant as what we saw in Loudoun County earlier, but we've been seeing these storms kind of coming up fast and furious. And right now, that new tornado warning, the area I'm most concerned with is just to the north of Barnesville, up near Sugarloaf Mountain.
Yes, yeah. This scan just came in. Just check the winds around Poolesville, just south of Poolesville. I'm seeing a little bit of a notch there. If you're in any of these areas we're mentioning, Barnesville, Poolesville, Luckett's, not so much Luckett's, but certainly Elmer and Poolesville, and then as you go eastward into Montgomery County, you have to take cover. And to go to a basement, interior room, you want to get away from windows. That's, of course, the key to save yourself from flying debris. So again, I'll zoom out just a little bit. So the warning has been expanded and has been extended until 7:30. And it covers a good chunk of Montgomery County, and it covers a little bit, I think, of Frederick County too. Yeah, a little bit of Frederick County, just a sliver of Frederick County south of Buckystown. So this is, right around the Sugarloaf Mountain area, Macomb Road, and that area. And again, going up 270, not advisable, simply just because we have heavy rain, low visibility, and the potential for some strong winds and some rotation. So this is the original tornado warning, the little box, and that goes until 7, another 3.5 minutes. And then this is the other warning that they've expanded, kind of covering this whole storm. And it includes Damascus and Germantown and Darnestown. You're kind of on the edge. Now, if you're in Gaithersburg or even Rockville, still should perk up your ears a little bit. You're not under any kind of a warning yet, but this is a very severe storm. And so if you're outside, Sarah Rodriguez, Kara Rodriguez from Town of Leesburg is on the phone with us. And can you tell us anything? Anybody see anything in terms of a tornado? Any damage reports?
So no damage reports or confirmed sightings at this point, but we do have all of our staff, including our police department, our public works department, monitoring current conditions.
Okay, so no reports of any power outages or downed trees or anything?
Not as of yet.
Okay, that's good news. And you're done now. The storm's pretty much east of you, so you may have some more showers, but the good news is the threat of severe weather for you has ended and now moved into Montgomery County. Ms. Rodriguez, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so here's the warning. Isn't that a big warning area?
It's a big warning,
It's
and honestly,
huge.
Topper, I think they're gonna expire it before 7:30. There's nothing really in this line of tornadic concern. I will say the strongest wind is actually just to the south of that original warning. You can see that one crack of lightning just entering Montgomery County, just to the east of Poolesville. That's where I
this
think we
one.
have some damaging wind. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of a notch there in reflectivity. You can't always tell by that, but it kind of is. I mean, so let's kind of focus in on that. So if you're in this area, Poolesville, maybe a little further to the east, not quite the Darnestown, this is serious. Martinsburg, Sugarland, I think that's also worth it. And then over 107, you got 107, way up 28 past Poolesville. I would take cover. I think that's a good advice. And again, it doesn't have to be tornadic. This is a pretty monster storm. I mean, I got to say, it's pretty impressive. I mean, it goes from, still stretches into Loudoun County, through Montgomery County, all the way up into parts of Frederick County. Okay, so now we've got, there's another, this is, I think, a new warning, is it not?
No, that's the existing.
That's the existing water?
Original.
It is? Okay, let me go back again.
7 o'clock, can we just reset for folks who may be joining us and let them know that there has been a tornado confirmed on the ground in Loudoun County, but there has been an expansion of these tornado warnings in Loudoun, Montgomery, and Frederick counties, and that is what we are tracking right now. And the extension of this is through 7:30.
Right, and so this little area right here, the original warning, will go away at 7 o'clock. But then that same area is under a second warning, as you mentioned, until 7:30. So yes, this and when we saw this, we've had other warnings today, tornado warnings, but this really had some rotation. We showed you the picture live. I mean, we saw the funnel cloud reach the ground and then it moved back up again. So we know that this storm has rotation, has winds 60, 70 miles per hour that could be rotating. And so if you're anywhere in this area, so that one went away. See, the original one went away. Leslie was talking about 7 o'clock, but now we have this one until 7:30, which includes a little bit of Frederick and a little tiny bit of Loudoun. I wouldn't worry about that. Essentially, it's upper Montgomery County and a little sliver of Frederick County under the warning until 7 o'clock, 7:30 rather. So I'll go back out a little bit and kind of show you just how big this storm is. I mean, it's pretty big. It extends now up just west of Westminster, and they got a new warning up there. They just popped a new tornado warning up there, and that's in Frederick County and also into the Baltimore area. And we have this warning still. At very least, put your umbrella down, get inside, and if you know someone in this area that's in the warning area that we've talked about, I'd give them a call and say, hey, you know what, have you heard about this? Because this is a pretty serious storm. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so upper Montgomery County, we got a really, Barnesville, Poolesville, Germantown, out Clopper Road 117, up 28, out 109. These are all, touch points. If you know of someone there or driving there, call them, DM them, something, because this is a big storm. Rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. Don't see any hail, but at this point it doesn't really matter because we have the possibility of a tornado still in this storm and certainly some damaging winds in the storm. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to zoom in. Where's the biggest? You see a couplet anywhere that you're kind of concerned about?
Yeah, and it's really heading into Poolesville. Poolesville is the area right now where you need to seek shelter if you have not done so already. Turn up the volume on your TV. You can continue to listen to us. You can stream us live on the app, but you need to make sure you are in that safe space.
There's Whites Ferry Road, there's Westerly Road, there's Poolesville, there's 109, and then this is 107. So this is the area we're concerned about, and it's going to head toward 28. So remember, it's moving about 25, 30 miles an hour. It's moving at a pretty good clip. So please take cover. Again, interior room, basement if you can. I know some of the houses up here do have basements. Go to the basement if you can, or certainly an interior room away from windows. That's key.
And Topper, I would show folks the new tornado warning in Frederick County. That one issued until 7:30 just a few moments ago. Yeah,
let's go back out a little bit. It extends into was it Carroll County? I think it does. Let's go back up a little bit. So this one, yeah, it's all part of the same storm system too. This is the new one right here, up into Frederick County.
And that is just for Frederick County. It stops before Carroll County.
Oh, it stops before Carroll County. So that one goes until
7:30.
7:30 also. So this is a tornado warning until 7:30, and then this is a tornado warning until 7:30 as well. This is a pretty big warning. It's essentially almost warned over the entire line of storms. And sometimes we'll get a line of storms, and they'll have little, I don't want to get too technical here, but they'll have little spin-ups and little areas of rotation, and it can drop a quick tornado, F0, F1, and then it pops back up. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, and it's also along the frontal boundary as well. We can track this. Again, both warnings go until 7:30, okay? And it's going to produce big-time rains and big-time winds, whether it's tornadic or not. So there it is, okay? So let's go ahead and track this, and it's going to continue to move essentially to the east, I think. So it's going to go into other parts of Montgomery County. Rockville at about 710 on our storm tracker. So at the very least, we're going to see heavy rain north of Rockville. Don't think it's going to make it into the immediate district or inside the Beltway at this point, but it will make a mark up there. There's another one that just popped up now. See that one? So they're popping all kinds of warnings with this particular cluster. And so we have one here, and we have one here, Frederick County, much of Montgomery County, a little sliver of Frederick County until 7:30. Both those are until 7:30. Leesburg, you're clear. Rockville, I would take cover. Gaithersburg, I would take cover. And it also has some electricity. Might want to unplug your desktop if you're concerned. If you get power surges, turn off the AC. You don't want the AC going on and off because of power outages. So here we are. There's the warning. And again, this is a tornado warning until 7:30. Poolsville, take cover. Germantown, Damascus. Laytonsville, you're not in the warning, but I would pay attention to this storm. Rockville, you'll probably just get on the corner of the heavy rain. But you also get some gusty winds with this. Even though you're not in the direct crosshairs, so to speak, you're certainly going to get some gusty winds. I think that's pretty much a given. And then further north, we know we do have a storm up into Frederick County, and this is the velocity. I'm looking to see if we see anything down here toward Germantown. Take it over toward Poolsville. There we go. Let's just take it toward Poolsville. Nothing crazy. I don't see anything crazy. Do you see any couplets anywhere around Poolsville anymore?
Yeah, I mean, definitely broad and weak. I certainly don't think we have a tornado on the ground, but right over Poolsville and then just to the north in Barnesville again, we have these really weak, very broad areas of rotation that, while that might not be a tornado on the ground, I certainly don't think it is. It is certainly, at a minimum, damaging wind. So you need to treat that area as if there was a tornado on the ground, because just as quickly as we've seen some of these tornadoes spin up, just like the confirmed tornado we had in Leesburg, they weaken. So that really is an area that needs to be on high alert until that warning expires. And right now that's set for 7:30.
And there's a soccerplex too. They're technically under the tornado warning as well. So if you're up there, you know someone that has a game, call them because they need to take shelter, get in their car, take shelter. Don't run away. Just get in your shelter, take shelter up there. So Benny, you say you have video of the. Oh, let's take a look at this. This is video of the funnel cloud earlier, and notice how it goes from the horizon. So you got the third lamppost to the right. See how it goes down into the ground?
Yeah.
That kind of indicates that it could well have been a funnel cloud that actually dropped to the ground. Sometimes you can see heavy rain shafts look like that too.
And Topper, I would head back to radar and go down to Leesburg, because the National Weather Service just said there is tight circulation to the north and east of Leesburg. A National Weather Service employee confirmed a funnel cloud in Leesburg, Virginia. The tornado warnings continue for Montgomery County, but I think it's really that very small. I know it doesn't look like much. But that's what the National Weather Service just wrote in. And given how much later it is from that original tornado warning in Loudoun County, I have to believe that that's what they're referencing. That little guy there, or this guy up here? The one to the left, just to the west of 15. Yep, right over 15 and 267. And looking at it on some of our radar data, there is a little, it's very tiny. This is just about as isolated as it can get, but report from a National Weather Service employee confirming a funnel cloud in Leesburg. Okay, well, that's around Fairview Street Northwest, West Market Street. Out 7. Wow, that's and they're not technically under the warning. No, the warning is east of you. All right, so if you around that area, this area 7, around Fairview Street Northwest or West Market Street, take cover. That is northwest of Leesburg proper. Please take cover. If you are in Upper Montgomery County, obviously take cover. Barnesville, Poolsville. Let's just go back out here. So here we are. So here's the warning. It covers a large area. I mean, it really does. So here's the tornado warning, and it looks like they may have dropped the one in Frederick. Let me see if they dropped that one or not. No, they still have the one in Frederick till 7:30, and then this one covers much of Montgomery County until 7:30. So both of these go until 7:30. We have all kinds of tornado warnings popping up around Baltimore. Again, this frontal boundary
it lifted north of us, and it's kind of kinked right here, and that's what is creating these storms. It kind of went pretty far north and then came back and then kinked down through the mountains, and that's when these storms developed on that little kink. And as the front slides eastward a little bit, that's what's creating these storms, and they're pretty hefty. They are pretty hefty. Let's zoom back in here. So again, this warning goes until 7:30, and it's a good portion of Montgomery County. So Barnesville, Clarksburg now. Know someone at the mall, at the outlets in Clarksburg, tell them to take cover. Germantown. You're not in the warning in Gaithersburg, but I would take cover. This is going to be a big storm no matter what. From Gaithersburg on 270 north up toward Frederick, a mess. Don't do it. Poolsville, still some heavy rain. Still some gusty winds between 28 and 17 at Clopper Road and up toward Clarksburg. That's a big storm. And whether it has a little F1 or F0 in it is a video down here. That's Germantown live right now. So that's what it looks like. And that's not even the heavy rain. Heavy rain is still just to the west of Germantown. That's rainfall about 0.7 of an inch per hour. But we get further west, and we have rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's a whole nother level. I'm going to zoom back out. There's Damascus. So there's Laytonsville, and Gaithersburg. So you guys are not under the warning, but wow, I would certainly start to do some preparations, put the umbrella down, secure loose objects, and then get to a secure place. So, execute your plan, whether it's the basement or an interior room.
Topper, that storm over Poolsville really just kind of pulsed up, and we have it's very small, but a very tight velocity couplet, and that has been what we've been tracking in terms of these tornadoes. So I would, definitely focus on Poolsville, maybe take folks out to Germantown, Darnestown, because that's where this storm is heading next.
Okay, there's 28, there's 109, and so we have White Ground Road and a Schaefer Road, and that's very close to the Soccerplex. And I'm sure there are games going on right now at the Soccerplex. So if you know someone out here, call them. Dawsonville, this is where we could see some rotation and some heavy rain. Again, we don't see any hail, but we do see some rotation. Whites Ferry Road, and that's Poolsville. So that's something to, if I riddle off any towns, pay attention, because that's what is inside the warning area. Germantown, Barnesville. So in between these two, we've got the storm possibly rotating. It's a mess on 270. And once you get north of Gaithersburg, there's the latest image. It just came into us. So Poolsville still has some heavy rain, but it looks to me like the winds are now just pulling east, if the possible rotation kind of across 28. So if you are, know someone trying to maybe to get home using 28, I would just advise just not to go anywhere. I mean, really. I mean, this is just, there's Jonesville, there's Poolsville, there's 28. We're seeing some lightning, so we're seeing that the storm is not weakening. It's probably at least holding together in terms of its intensity. And there's Jonesville, so there could be some big winds in this area too. I mean, there really could be. So if you know anybody, that's on like Cattail Lane, Jonesville Road, Cattail Road, I would say they need to take cover.
And Topper, when we talk about these tight velocity couplets, I want to show you this photo we just got in from Owings Mills.
Okay.
This is, of course, not in our area, but this really paints the picture of what we've been watching today.
Whoa, yep.
Look at those little funnels. Now, there was no confirmation in this area. Again, this is Owings Mills. I know it says Montgomery and Frederick County there on the bottom of your screen, but this is in Owings Mills in Maryland. There was no confirmation if any of those actually touched the ground, but those are the types of funnel clouds that we're talking about. So you can see 3 there dropping from the clouds, just similar to what we were talking about in parts of Leesburg, those really small areas of rotation that could have potentially reached the ground. Now, this is a video from Loudoun County where we did have that confirmation of a tornado. I saw this video a little bit earlier on social media. The gentleman who posted it said there was debris lofted. Of course, that is exactly what we're talking about whenever we talk about these potential tornadoes. And this was, in fact, a confirmed tornado on the ground in Loudoun County. We got that confirmation from the National Weather Service at 6:44. I know it just looks like you're looking at a bunch of clouds there, but if you look carefully, you can see that funnel right beyond that home. You can see where there's that rotation within that thunderstorm that was in fact the confirmed tornado. But we do want to send you back here to the maps, and we can show you where we are continuing to track those tornado warnings that continue. And it looks like we just got another confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service. This was confirmed just at 7:09, a confirmed radar tornado. This was for the storm.
Yep.
In Montgomery County, extending 6 miles north of Boyd's. Yep, that's exactly right. So why don't we head back to the map and talk more about that tornado warning, because we do still have that tornado warning in effect until 7:30 this evening.
So we have these two warnings. So this is Frederick and Montgomery County up here until 7:30, and that's the one that has produced now a confirmed tornado, and also a possible confirmed tornado out in Loudoun County. So that goes until 7:30. And please take cover if we talk about some of the towns in your area, because, and I'm going to actually widen it out. I'm going to zoom in, but also I'm going to talk about the potential for damage outside the warning area. And I want to kind of emphasize that. Yeah, this is where the warning area is: Germantown, Darnestown, Poolesville. But if you're outside of this, this is the time now to take cover. Gaithersburg and Rockville, across 270. Now we have a new one from Montgomery County until 7:45. So this storm is showing no signs of weakening at all. And again, this is the storm that went through Poolesville. Now it's in Darnestown, Germantown, Gaithersburg. New warning from Montgomery County. That's kind of northeastern Montgomery County until 7:45. So these storms are intense, and they are really showing no signs of weakening. And now that we're getting confirmed reports, we're pretty confident. So again, a warning from Montgomery County till 7:45. This warning back to the west, which includes places like White Ground Road and 107 around Black Rock Mill, that goes until 7:30. Same for the Soccerplex. So, this is serious, because there's all kinds of games going on at Soccerplex most of the time. And so if you know someone out there, just give them a call. Riflefoot Road, out 28, Quince Orchard. You're not technically in the warning, this warning, but you need to take cover. This again, and this is the time we talk about this, that, have a plan in place so everybody knows where to go. If this happens, all you have to do is go, hey, tornado warning. Go in the basement, go in this room, get away from windows, have a plan. So this is the warning until 7:30, and then this is a new warning here, kind of splits through Germantown until 7:45 from Montgomery County. That goes on the east side of 270. So essentially now we've seen more than half of Montgomery County under a tornado warning today. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit, and we'll track this for you. Well, first I want to zoom in. Do you see any couplets in this storm around Germantown? It's
very big. It's very broad, really extending from Germantown to Poolesville. Yeah. I don't know that I would necessarily say this is a tornado on the ground, but at a minimum, really strong damaging wind stretching from Montgomery County Model Air Park to Stevens Pond Road. Okay. That's where we really have, again, very broad, but definitely likely some damaging wind in the area.
And over toward the Soccerplex and Central Park Circle and Schaefer Road.
And we just got this in, Topper, also from the National Weather Service just at 7:45. Confirmed tornado was located over Poolesville, moving east at 20 miles per hour. That was a confirmed tornado from weather spotters. So if you are still in the area, Germantown, Gaithersburg, Montgomery Village, North Potomac, and Boyd's, those are the areas that still need to seek shelter, as if this tornado may still be on the ground, because that is now a confirmed tornado for Montgomery County.
Okay, so it's out of Poolesville now. So this is the area we're very, very concerned about, and that includes the Soccerplex and 107. So I'm going to zoom in kind of where these roads intersect a little bit, just west of the Soccerplex. So
and Topper, also worth noting real quick that tornado warning in Frederick was dropped. Okay, good. So we still have this one then. But we have a new one in Montgomery County until 7:45, northeast Montgomery County, then this one until 7:30. So if you're around 128 or 17, I would take cover. I mean, I really would. This is a serious situation. When we have reports of them on the ground, that's pretty
pretty serious.
Oh yeah, Topper, and you know what? This just spiked right back up just in between, just to the south and east of Poolesville. So again, this is that same storm that was a confirmed tornado right now, showing some really strong signals. This is right over 107, right near Wind Ridge Vineyards, Dawsonville. If you're in the area, that is a strong area of concern right now. And also back towards Clarksburg, encompassed in that larger tornado warning, both areas that need to seek shelter immediately if you are not already doing so. I think it's actually just to the east a little bit of that area, Topper.
I think it's past here.
Yep, right by 107 where you see that cluster of thunder and lightning.
Right here, and then over here. So Wind Ridge, in this area, Poolesville, and then Barnesville, and I'm kind of still concerned about the Soccerplex too. I mean, that's down 108. See the camera there? It's live Germantown Road. So they're getting some rain. Don't see any of the clouds that would say anything, other than rain at this point. I'm going to zoom back out again here. So there's the Soccerplex. It's kind of zoomed back out. I want to show you where the warnings are because there are a lot of them. So this one here, okay, that goes until 7:45. The larger one that was issued earlier goes until 7:30, another 11 minutes. So if you are in Germantown, if you're anywhere east of Poolesville, and hopefully you're listening, you've got to take cover. Have the plan. Get to an interior room, basement. Most of you folks have basements in here. There's the Soccerplex. There's White Ground Road, and there's Black Rock Mill, and that to me is where it's going to be seeing strong winds, maybe some rotation, and it's going to continue probably just north of the Soccerplex up toward Germantown.
Hey, Top, we've got Pete Perringer with Montgomery County Fire and EMS. Can we talk to him for just a moment?
Yeah. Do you want to say something?
I was just going to say, we're seeing radar lofting debris 11,000 feet up into the air. That really speaks to the magnitude of this storm. I would appreciate if Pete would be on standby, but I think we really need to show folks where this storm is right now because that is just about as dangerous as it gets for this area.
So we're seeing debris balls, basically.
Yes.
With this. So that's impressive. You see debris 11,000 feet in the air. This is a tremendous storm. And especially for our area around here. So there's the Soccerplex, there's 117. Please, if you're in this area, there's Schaefer Road, take cover. There's Rifleford Road. You're in the second tornado warning. Please take cover here. Quince Orchard, take cover. Clopper, also take cover.
This is right over Dawsonville. That is the area where there is a really strong signaling for potentially still a tornado on the ground because, again, this same cell has already been a confirmed tornado just south of Poolesville. Right.
So when we know that we've already had it confirmed, then we're much more confident. And we have some eyewitnesses and we have radar confirmed. And now if we have debris 11,000 feet in the air, that's kind of crazy for us. And so I'm going to zoom in here east of Poolesville. Okay, Poolesville, you're pretty much done with the storm. But down toward 107, Soccerplex, White Ground Road, down to 117 and 28. Stay off of 28. Essentially from Rockville northward or westward, it's not going to be safe. It just isn't going to be safe. That is where we could see some very, very strong winds in this area. We can zoom in a tiny bit more here and just talk about these two roads because this is where I think this is actually kind of close to where they are. White Ground Road could see some rotation. At the very least, you need to take cover, okay? If I'm riddling off any of these roads or Caitlin's riddling off any roads or towns, you need to take cover. There's Dawsonville right now. That's what Caitlin was talking about a minute ago. Maybe some strong rotation there. That's sort of down White Ground Road. And it's headed eastward. So it's headed really right. You see anything around the Soccerplex right now? Because the Soccerplex, it's just northeast of Dawsonville. And just to the west of 118.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly the area that this storm is heading to, just to the north of Darnestown still. Mm-hmm. I think if I had to guess, I would say it's crossing Darnestown Road heading to 118, which is Germantown Road, right near the Seneca Greenway Trail, Seneca Ridge Trail, a lot of outdoor recreation areas, of course, and we can only hope that folks are seeking the proper shelter in that area. Again, a basement, a small interior room, a patio or a gazebo is not going to cut it for this type of storm.
No, no, no. You have to be away from windows or a basement. So this is what Caitlin was talking about. There's the Soccerplex, there's Old Germantown, there's 117. And there's Rifleford Road. Anywhere in this area, Wisteria Drive, anywhere in this area, it's dangerous right now. And not only just for strong winds, but for some rotation. I mean, there could be a tornado on the ground. This storm has already produced tornadoes, so we know that. So that's sort of a different, sort of animal when we actually know it's produced tornadoes as opposed to Doppler indicated or just the alarm going off with an algorithm. So that's a little different. Pete Perringer's on the phone right now. Pete, what do you have for us? Anything?
Thanks for all that information about the warnings and so forth. But yes, I have talked to, I'm not in Poolesville, but I talked to some folks up there, as you suggested, that's kind of moved out of the downtown Poolesville, if there is such a thing. And certainly we don't have any reports of any damage or anything just yet. A few lightning strikes up in the area. We are a few wrecks on Sugarland Road and 28 and so forth, but no reports of any. I think people are still hunkered down, hopefully, so don't have any real good information. But as far as fire and EMS response, we haven't had too much activity up in that area just yet.
And we got a second confirmed spotter on that same tornado on the ground near Poolesville. They were viewing it to the west from Route 28 and Route 117. We got a photo of that funnel cloud on the ground. We're going to try and bring that to you on air here shortly.
So, Pete, are there games going on at the Soccerplex? Have you gotten word out to them that, hey, this is dangerous, you're under a warning?
Well, our emergency management folks have reached out. We have been, obviously hitting the social media with the watches and the warnings.
Okay.
And many different platforms. Of course, I'm not there, so I can't confirm, but I do know that there was some activity outdoors in that area. Mm-hmm. And the people I talked to had been actually at the Soccerplex, and they had left earlier, and they were hunkered down. But so I assume that was the case in general. So let's hope so. But no reports of any injuries or damage or anything like that just yet. But,
okay.
This is an active situation right now. Certainly, as you suggested, with a warning, tornado warning, people should take cover now. Move to the basement area or interior room, lowest level of a sturdy building, avoid windows. If you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from any of the flying debris. I guess you said you had some reports of debris.
Yeah, we have reports of debris at 11,000 feet.
We haven't had any responses as a result of the storm just yet.
Okay. All right, Pete, stay in touch with us. I think you might get some reports as we go further into this situation. I want to kind of zoom in here on Reichter Farm Road. This is just to the east of the Soccerplex and also Rifleford Road. Again, I've been mentioning that, 117. Caitlin's been mentioning that. I think in this area right now is extremely dangerous. Hopkins Road as well, just south of Germantown. So, yeah, execute your plan, interior room or basement. A lot of you folks do have basements in this area.
And Topper, this storm just keeps looking stronger and stronger, and it's continuing toward Gaithersburg. I would not be surprised if really any moment now the National Weather Service extends this tornado warning. So I think it's worth zooming back out and giving the folks out of the warning just to the east a heads up that if you're in Durwood, even parts of Rockville may be included. I think it's going to end up being just to the north of that, but Durwood, Redland, Montgomery Village, Laytonsville, I really think this warning is going to get extended into your area because right now just to the north of Darnestown, there is just as strong as a tornado signature as you can get on radar. Okay,
that's quite a statement. So this is the current tornado warning until 7:45, and it does include Montgomery, well, just not quite Montgomery Village, but very close to Gaithersburg. And given what Caitlin just told us, we think it's going to be extended a little further east. And notice the lightning. It shows no sign of weakening. And again, lightning is not always a one-to-one correlation, but generally speaking, if a storm has more frequent lightning, it is getting stronger. It is not weakening at all. So if you're in Germantown or out toward Clopper or Gaithersburg, Montgomery, please take cover. And we talked about this earlier. If you're not even in the warning out toward Redland, take cover now. Laytonsville, Etchison, take cover now because you're in the path of what's a dangerous storm. I mean, a very dangerous storm. And in this case, we can say a tornadic storm that has put numerous tornadoes down. And remember, they're going to go down and skip back up in the atmosphere and come back down again. It's rare we get one on the ground that stays on the ground for a long length of time. So Germantown, yeah, I would take cover. I'm going to kind of zoom in between Germantown, the Soccerplex, and Clopper there. So that's around 119, right in this area. Old Germantown and Wisteria Drive, I mentioned that a couple times. I'm kind of concerned about that. Dawson Farm Road as well, and also Reichter Farm Road. This is just east of the Soccerplex. Take cover. Again, have a plan and take cover because this is a dangerous storm that we don't see too often around here. We really don't. I'm going to zoom back out, and we'll show you the breadth of this storm. This became a monster complex of storms. I mean, it really did. It's not quite as strong as it was, but we still have storms up to Mount Airy, but here are the warnings. So this one will expire here shortly in about 60 seconds. That will go away, and then this is what's left of that tornado warning until 7:45. And then, as Caitlin mentioned, it may be extended on the east side of 270. So Olney, you're in that path as well. Even out into Atchison, Sunshine, you're kind of boom, there it is. Okay, now we got a tornado warning until 8:15 for Montgomery County. So well done, Caitlin. So we're going to zoom back in here and try to highlight some of the areas. Okay, you can be ahead of the storm if you're in Redland. Take cover immediately. Montgomery Village, you should have taken cover immediately. Gaithersburg, immediately. Out toward Olney, you should go out 97. You should go out 108. Also take cover, and not far from Norbeck and not far from the ICC. I would think about taking cover now. Don't wait for this to get to you because it is a dangerous storm, and it has history of producing tornadoes. So we have to really respect this and really take this seriously. This is one of the most serious storms we've seen in a few years. So there's Gaithersburg, there's Clopper, there's Germantown. You're in the warning right now, but then we have a larger warning out here east of I-270. And it's just kind of on the edge of 200. So if you know anybody maybe uses the ICC, maybe they come down from Baltimore, jump on the ICC, and come into Montgomery County, if you can, tell them not to leave the office because this is one heck of a storm. It really is. I'm going to zoom in, and I think, well, Caitlin, you tell me, you see a couple anywhere between Clopper and Gaithersburg around 124?
Topper, right now it is just between Germantown and North Potomac, directly in between the two towns, and the strongest it has looked all evening long.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, let me zoom in. All right, there's Germantown. We've been talking about Wisteria Drive for a lot. There's 355. There's Clopper. Yeah, this is, this is about as serious as we get. No, I can't. I'm going to go a little further this way. So there's Old Germantown. There's Clopper. So this is Wisteria. So right in this area, we think, and maybe even down toward Clopper, we see the potential for some strong winds and possibly a Reichter's Farm Road. We think right in here could be the place where you're most likely to see damaging winds and rotation. So that's, again, warning goes to 8:15 from Montgomery County. That's Kitchen House Way, Wheat Ridge Drive. That is between, near Clopper, just kind of north of Clopper. And again, this is a dangerous storm. Cannot emphasize that enough.
We are already seeing debris being lofted on radar already. That speaks to the magnitude of this storm, and the National Weather Service just said they opted to issue a new warning instead of extending it to set people's phones off again. People need to be seeking shelter if they are in the path of this storm. Okay,
that's smart. There's Wisteria, there's Clopper. So we're going to zoom, but there's Middlebrook. If you're in any of these areas, please take cover. This is serious. So this is the extended warning, covers the rest of the northern half of Montgomery County, in this case, northeast half of Montgomery County, until 8:15. This will go away at 7:45 in a few minutes, But still, you know, even when this goes away, this area, you're going to have it, you're still in the warning. You're in the extended warning, okay, out toward Clopper and Montgomery Village and Gaithersburg. So we're looking at the potential for, and when we see the radar getting debris in the atmosphere, 8, 10, 12,000 feet in the atmosphere, that's a heck of a storm. I mean, it really is. That's tremendous updraft and tremendous rotation. So there's Metropolitan Grove, there's Bank Street, and there's West Watkins Mill Road, and there's Clopper. I think right in this area, this could be some rotation here. Certainly a lot of lightning, and notice the lightning has increased as the storm has increased. You know, Caitlin's saying it's as strong as she's seen it. So Clopper and Long Draft Road take cover. Bank Street down 124, Gaithersburg, and I'm going to pan over here. Any of these areas I'm talking about, please take cover. I'm going to go a little further. There's Washington Grove. There's Diamond Avenue. So that's Washington Grove. That's Shady Grove Road, and that's that's 124. So we're up near Rio, and we're up near off of 355 and 28, and also Seneca Road. So Washington Grove, Metropolitan Grove, I would take cover. We can't really stress, I don't think, the severity of this enough. And I'm going to go a little further to the east here. So Redland, take cover. You know, 115. You're experiencing heavy rain now. You may not be experiencing the big winds just yet. So take cover. It's time to do that, especially up near Rio and Diamond Avenue and Gaithersburg. That's, again, where it probably is right now. I'm going to keep going. Out Muncaster Mill, okay? You're under the warning until 8:15. I'm going to go further out toward 97. That's Georgia Avenue. That's Hines Road and Bowie Mill Road. So you're like looking outside going, it's not so bad. Well, yeah, you don't have that much in terms of rain or wind yet, but you need to take cover, okay? We're just asking you to take cover for like 45 minutes. That's it. Take your phone in the basement, move away from the windows, certainly. But I think most of you guys do have basements out here. There's Needwood Road. And there's 200. That's the ICC. You're right smack in the warning right now. I'm going to zoom back out to show you how big this warning is. This is a pretty big warning. It covers, you know, most of Montgomery County, and it stops on the line right now, Montgomery County. But if you're in Howard County, pay attention too, because that could cross over. There's 370. That is where the teeth of the storm is right now, between 370 here, north of Rockville, Sam Ike Highway up toward Germantown. That to me is where I think it's the most serious. Look at all the lightning.
And Topper, the National Weather Service has once again confirmed that there is a tornado on the ground near Gaithersburg.
Well, there it is. Yeah, that does not surprise us here. We'll zoom in a little more here. So it's on. We told you to stay off of 270. I mean, please stay off of 270. It could be very close to. Well, it could be close to Diamond Avenue.
I think it's actually just to the west of 270 right now, just to the south of Metropolitan Grove, about to cross into Diamond Avenue.
Okay, so on Long Draft
So
Avenue,
right at the intersection of 124, yep.
Right here, and about to cross over.
And 117, yep.
And I mean, that's going right into Gaithersburg. So is this Gaithersburg live? And Diamond Avenue. Okay, so they're seeing rain, but the heaviest stuff is yet to come. That's like right there.
And Topper, this is a relatively, as you can see, rain-wrapped tornado.
Right.
It is not a funnel cloud like we clearly saw in Leesburg. There's a lot of rain around this, making it even that much more dangerous.
Yeah, and maybe even some debris. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little more. So we're going to get in tight here, and again, Gaithersburg, take cover. Anywhere around, Gaithersburg, North Potomac, Research Drive, that area, Sunnyside Court, Cedar Avenue, all these areas, King James Way, Muddy Branch Road, that kind of goes very close to 270. Take cover, please. This is not one that we're like radar indicated. We know it's produced a tornado, and we know that one is more likely on the ground right now in Gaithersburg. There's Muddy Branch Road right there. So here's Gaithersburg. There's 270, there's 355, kind of paralleling 270, and Redland. If you're in Redland, take cover now. It's heading your way, and get off of 115 In Montgomery Village, if you're in Montgomery Village, I would take cover at this hour. And Albany, I would take cover, even though you're under the warning, but you don't see the storm just yet. But they're trying to give you some lead time. Weather Service pretty good, saying, okay, we know there's a tornado in this storm. We're going to issue it farther east ahead of time so that folks can take the time to cover it. Here's a live picture from Gaithersburg, Diamond Avenue. I-270 Diamond Avenue. That's pretty ominous.
Pretty ominous, yeah.
Yeah, that's and you can see, if you look carefully, look at the clouds moving in different directions. Kind of interesting with different flows at different levels.
And Topper, the National Weather Service did put a considerable tag on this. Now what that means is there's 3 levels of warnings that they can issue: base, considerable, and destructive. It is rare that we even get a base, but to have considerable, is just about as serious as it gets. And that's actually even what looks like a better angle, because this storm, as we're tracking it on radar, is just about to cross 270. So can we pan that camera back and stay on that shot of 270? I'm not sure if we have that in our control. The opposite way.
The other left, yeah.
Okay, that's an
that's
MDOT
good.
camera. We are not able to control that, but
Okay.
I think, where we just saw on 270, that dark cloud moving over what, is a busy 270. There are so many cars on the road, and, you just have to hope that folks are able to stay safe as the storm quickly moves. I mean, just look at that wall of darkness passing so quickly from the right hand to the left hand side of the screen. It even looks like, Topper, can you see that debris? It looked like there was some debris being lofted in that cloud. Yep,
I think I did. So if you're 270 in Diamond Avenue in Gaithersburg, it's pretty much the heart of Gaithersburg, you need to take cover. Hopefully you've already taken cover at this point, because this is where the tornado is, and that's where the video is coming from. So I'm gonna zoom in. I don't want to get so close, though, that you folks ahead of the storm are taking cover also, like Redland and out 200 and over toward Albany. But we think right about here is where the highest winds are and where the tornado could be crossing over 270. So that's Deer Park Drive there, and West Deer Park Road, that's 117. So you're right essentially in the heart of Gaithersburg here, and just now crossing over on the east side of 270. So this is, again, maybe the strongest storm I've seen, since Frostburg and maybe since La Plata. I mean, this is a pretty strong storm. We had a similar outbreak, but not as strong. 2008, as of yesterday, was the anniversary. But this is very, very impressive and very concerning. I mean, it really is. I'm going to zoom back out. Will you see any more couplets anywhere, like in
right
this
over
area?
270 into Durwood.
Into Durwood?
Right over 270 into Durwood. It seems as though it's jogged a little far south, and I think that's because this rotation, Topper, has made a complete cyclone at this point.
Right.
So
the whole thing is cycled around, right? So the tornado, I mean, the whole thunderstorm has to rotate, and that's what gives it a chance to drop down the tornado. Okay, so there's 270. We're on 270 and Diamond Avenue. And, okay.
I would take us back to radar, Topper, and really hone in on that Durwood area, because that is where, if this tornado is still on the ground, that is seemingly the area. Just to the south of Gaithersburg, just to the north of Durwood, is where we still see a really solid rotation on our radar imagery.
Right in here. So I think also, like, West Deer Park Road and also Washington Grove, I would take cover too. Even Shady Grove Road down to 370 Sam Ike Highway, especially if, as Caitlin mentioned, if it's rotating and it's going to rotate it further south. You're all under the warning, tornado warning until 8:15, so that has not changed. And I'll zoom in a little further here, and we can kind of go. Let's see, it's kind of go in between Gaithersburg and Washington Grove. So it's potentially, okay, that was the latest scan. I would think it's a little further now north and east of this. There's Deer Park Drive.
Really right at the intersection of 270 and 370, right near the Tanger outlets in the area.
It was down there.
Monster
okay.
Mini Golf, Sky Zone. I'm sure you've seen it if you've driven on 270.
Yep,
right there.
Right here, okay. So this is where we think it could possibly be on the ground. That's Edgewood Drive and also Deer Park Drive. Now, given the latest scan here of the reflectivity, the radar, I'm also a little more concerned with folks a little ahead of this. Okay, so let's say we go a little across 355 to South Westland Drive and Dakota Drive. This is still by 370, and also Crabs Branch Way. There could be some rotation here. Certainly we're looking at high winds. I mean, there's just no doubt we see the high winds. And also we're looking at Oakmont Avenue that kind of runs into 370. I think that is problematic. I'm going to go a little further east, okay? So that's Crabs Branch Way, that's Shady Grove Road. I think in this area we might see some rotation in the next 3 minutes or to a minute. They're not moving as fast as they normally move. I think they're moving like a 30 or 28 miles an hour. They're not hauling. Yeah. Oftentimes they'll move 50. Unfortunately, they're not moving that fast. I'll go a little further east. Notice we have a new lightning strike here, and that's Redland Road. So that's essentially Gaithersburg, Rockville area, and Briardale Road and Grand Vista Drive, all in this area. Please take cover. This is a monster storm. I mean, it really is. And you know, we don't say that too often here in terms of having, you know, the fact we know that it's put down tornadoes. So we're not saying it could be, radar indicated. No, it has put down tornadoes. I'm going to zoom back out. I want to show you just how big an area this is covering. So it's just a little sliver here that goes till 7:45, but that's done. There's nothing in that area, so you can pretty much forget about that. It's this second warning that goes until 8:15 that covers much of Montgomery County, and also off to the east. And I don't know. Okay, so now we have this one is still at 8:15, and that one is pretty much done. I mean, that's going to go away in a minute. So this is the warning. I'm going to let this one go away, and then we're going to kind of zoom in here. So Olney and Etchison, I would take cover. And we're going to see shortly if they're going to extend it into Howard County. Any
I think
thoughts?
I think they absolutely will.
Okay.
But we still have ways to go through Montgomery County, right?
Yeah, we sure do.
Olney, Brookville, Ashton, Redland, that's the area I'm most concerned with right now because that tight rotation between, and they just extended it again. You'll see that new warning pop up.
Yeah, I did see it, yes.
Or no, I'm sorry, they just canceled the previous one. That's what changed.
Oh, the 7:45 one? Yeah, okay. But this is, and again, we're trying to get you guys ahead of the storm. So Clarksville, out 32, and Ashton, as you mentioned, New Hampshire Avenue, 108, that's Ashton, Olney, Brookville, out towards Sunshine. You got George Avenue far enough, you get to Sunshine. In fact, that's where 97 and 650 meet. You're under the warning at this hour, so you guys have got to pay attention. But we'll zoom back in here, and right now I would say the storm is between Gaithersburg and Olney. I will zoom back in, and we'll talk about places that we're really concerned about now, and I think it's right here. Okay, Olney, get ready. I mean, seriously. So Redland, Muncaster Road, Redland Road, Washington Grove, Needwood Road, that's 115 there, and that's 200 is the ICC, Intercounty Connector, and then this is a Cashel Road too. So you're under the warning. So when a warning comes out, it means it's happening. Watch is it's possible, and a warning is it's happening. Ironically, we never had a watch today, but when we have a warning, that means that's happening, and that goes until 8:15. Do you see any couplets around Redland, Caitlin, or Muncaster Mill, or just north of the ICC 200?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nothing has really changed in terms of the intensity here,
Okay.
which is what's really frightening. And if our crews behind the scenes can hear me, please pull up the MDOT camera at 270 and Maryland 117. Again, that's 270 and 117. Montgomery County Emergency Management said they could see power flashes evident on the camera screen, on the camera stream rather.
Oh, look at that. Is that where that
Yep,
is,
that's
Penny?
it.
Is that it?
Yep, that's 270 and 117.
Oh, that's 270 and Diamond Road? Diamond Avenue? Yeah. 117, one Clopper, right. That's quite a storm and quite a cloud for us. I mean, that's in some ways as impressive as it gets here. Oh, you did see him? But we didn't see him on the air, right?
We can't hear what you all are talking
Oh,
about.
we did.
Top,
Okay.
clue us in a bit here.
Well, I didn't see it on the air live, but the control room said when they took this earlier, they did see power flashes. So transformers probably blowing and that sort
So
of
if
thing.
people are just joining us, what we're looking at on the screen is what, Topper?
Well, that is 270 and essentially Diamond Avenue.
Okay.
And that's where the storm went through. And then this is very close to that camera view, but now we're kind of inching off toward Redland and closer to I-270 because that's where the storm is moving, and the warning continues until 8:15 rather for Redland and Needwood and Muncaster Mill. Anybody in this area, and Olney and Bowie Mill Road, you got to take cover. There are a bunch of neighborhoods in here. So, at Oakdale. Please, this is, a little, this is about as serious as it gets. I mean, it really is. I'm going to go further now. So here's Olney. That's Prince Philip Drive. That's out near Bachelor Forest Road as well. Queen Elizabeth Drive. So as you go past Olney on 97, and that's, of course, Olney and 107, 97 and 108. That's the intersection, essentially, of Olney. This is serious. I mean, anywhere in here, take cover. At the very least, you're going to see some incredible winds and some incredible rains. And I'm going to just kind of keep going. This is Ashton. So, you go down 97 to Olney and, hang a right, 108, you get to Ashton. And that's 650. That's New Hampshire Avenue. So if you're in that area, please take cover. Up near Brinklow, that's just further north on 650, New Hampshire Avenue. There's Ednor. I know someone who grew up in Ednor. How about that? So you also are in the in the crosshairs of this storm. Okay, repeat that again, Benny. Okay, that picture is ICC and Muncaster Mill Road. Wow. Wow. Well, did we see any flashes here? I don't see any debris. The trees look kind of quiet in the foreground, but that in the background looks like a heck of a storm. We see the policeman there just, I guess, waiting. Not much traffic coming. Not much traffic coming westbound on 270. But that was, that's also where the tornado could be. Also where you can see some rotation. Anything new, Chef? Do we have? That's Norwood Road, by the way, too, off of Lay Hill Road. 182 is Lay Hill Road. So this all in this area. Take cover, and you should have taken cover already. Let me go back out a little bit, and we'll kind of reset, and we'll show you the breadth of the tornado warning. It's been a pretty big one, and for good reason. I mean, they did a heck of a job doing this. Look at that. That's essentially that's a good chunk of Montgomery County. I would say at least half of Montgomery County.
And to our crews behind the scenes too, I'm hearing if you can go to Frederick Road at Shady Grove Road on MDOT. Again, that's Frederick Road at Shady Grove Road on MDOT. I just had a viewer write in saying you can see the tornado. They spotted it on the camera there.
How long ago was that?
That was
right now?
30 seconds ago.
That's it. That could be it to the left of the bigger pole. In fact, I sort of, Kaylee, you see that? Like, it can't be two, right?
I mean, there's two areas of
it looked like it was
significant wind, but I believe it's just one tornado likely on the ground.
I think it's probably just to the second. Okay, so I think it's just to the telephone pole there, to the bigger one to the corner or to the right. That right there. That's what we're looking at. Although I did see what looked like multi-vortex, but I don't. That might have just been.
And Topper really can't focus on only enough right now because that is where this storm is heading, and this storm is looking every bit as strong as it has for the past 45 minutes. Okay, so that's the possible touchdown area right there. And again, this is, tell me the camera location, Benny, I'm sorry. 355 Shady Grove Road. So that's probably looking off to the east because the storm is pretty much past them. So yes, Olney, Ashton, Etchison, please take cover. This is a monster storm that shows no signs of weakening. Yes, it can pulse up and down,
but it still maintains the potential to produce a tornado.
And I think we should head back to the maps because they trimmed back the tornado
Okay,
warning.
let's
So
see that.
areas in Gaithersburg, you are in the clear. You can get out of that safe location. The threat now continues for Olney, Brookville, Ashton, parts of Montgomery County until this, pretty undoubtedly gets extended into
Howard County.
So if you are beyond that, if you are Gaithersburg and Points West, you are in the clear.
Right. So here we are at Shady Grove Road. There's 370. There's 270. You're fine. But Redland, and particularly Oakdale and Olney, you're not in the clear. This could move right through you and just go even just to the north of you up toward Etchison. Norbeck, you're out of the warning technically, but I would still be vigilant. There's Bachelor Forest Road. I mentioned that off of 97, George Avenue. All of these areas, please take cover. And we'll zoom, we'll move off to the east. So there's Ashton, okay, and there's Norwood, there's Ednor Road, which goes back into New Hampshire Avenue. Take cover if you're here. There's 650, that's New Hampshire Avenue. Old Baltimore Road, Oakdale, off of Ednor, a little road called Wooddale Drive. Take cover, if you would, please. Old Baltimore's Road, take cover. Oh, the warning goes until 8:15, and this is serious. It's happening. We know it's happening. We have eyewitness, we have radar indicated, we have debris balls in the atmosphere. That's something we don't see too often. So in this area right now in Olney, right in the intersection, okay, of 108 and George Avenue, that is very concerning to me. And a little further north, out 108 too, up near Blue Mash Court. Okay, so this is the ICC and Muncaster Mill, and it does look much darker now. Almost looks like nightfall, and we're still 30 minutes away from sunset. And that looks pretty ominous. It really does. But I'm really concerned about old Baltimore Road and Bachelor Forest Road. That cuts between 108 and Sandy Spring Road. Take cover. All of Olney should be taking cover. Norwood, Ednor Road, Ashton. See that? It just came on and flashed again. So the storm is not weakening. Again, we're seeing increasing lightning, and we're seeing it pulse up and down, putting this tornado on the ground.
That tornado is still confirmed over Redland, heading toward Olney. That tornado is confirmed to be still on the ground.
Still on the ground. Okay, let me go back in here a little bit. All right, so if you're anywhere near some roads I'm going to mention, Hines Road, Cashel Road, Oakdale, just north on the north side of 200, which is the ICC, take cover immediately. Now, we're not going to know the scope of the damage and the path until tomorrow, the day after, when the Weather Service goes out and actually has to survey the site. So this is the warning, in effect, Olney, Bowie Mill Road. If you're back now toward Needwood, you're probably okay, but I think Olney right now is the area we're most concerned about as this tornado continues to be on the ground. That scope just updated too. So this is the latest, this is seconds old here. That now looks to me like we may be seeing Olney having some strong winds, but now perhaps we need to kind of concern ourselves with folks just on the east side of 97 and the north side of 108. So out toward Norwood Road, 182 is Lay Hill Road. So out in this area, and it's about to cross over a Brinklow and Ashton, that's 650 New Hampshire Avenue. These are the areas now I would really, I'm trying to give you like a minute or two warning before these winds get there and or the tornado gets there. So Queen Elizabeth Drive, I think it's probably coming over 97 or very close to Olney right now. It might be between Bowie Mill Road and Olney and say Prince Philip Drive, and it's moving off to the east. So you folks in Brinklow and Ashton and Ednor, if you're along Lay Hill Road, please take cover.
Hey, Top, we're
is
hearing
serious.
about a structure that collapsed in Gaithersburg with people trapped at 400 Dogwood Drive near Tulip Drive. This is coming from Pete Perringer with Montgomery County Fire and Rescue. So you all have been talking about this as a monster storm that has continued to grow in impact and scope, and we have evidence of this here as well.
Do you know what type of structure? Was it a residential, commercial? Do we know?
We are working to find that out. As
Okay.
soon as we know, we'll pass it along.
According to Google Maps, it is a home.
It's a home, okay.
It is a residential home, 400 Dogwood Drive, correct?
That is correct.
Yes, that is a home right next to the Leading Start Kids Preschool.
Okay. And that's in Gaithersburg.
Correct.
Okay, so that same storm is now pushing through Olney.
And this is just to the east of Gaithersburg High School, like right across 337 South Frederick Avenue. You have
Yep.
Gaithersburg High School on the western side, and just to the eastern side is that structure that we just heard reports that has been collapsed with people trapped inside.
Okay, well, we will get you update on that. Hope everybody's okay. Crews are on the way. Okay, that's good. So now the storm is headed toward 650 New Hampshire Avenue between Ashton and Brinklow and kind of Brookville. In this general area, you got to take cover because we know it's serious. I mean, we knew it was serious when we saw areas of debris in the atmosphere. That indicates a very, very strong storm with incredible circulation, upward draft. And in this case, it also was rotating and dropped down a tornado. And we know that the tornado's pretty strong. And I think as we go through the evening, we're going to see more damage as we go through, just until nightfall anyway. We follow the track of this tornado. I think it's going to be hopefully not impressive, but I think it's going to be very visible on the ground. And it seems to me like it's been on the ground for quite a bit. A lot of times our tornadoes will come down. They might go 100 yards and then go up, and then maybe never come down
This
again.
has been on the ground top, and Caitlin?
I think it's been skipping up and down for probably 6 to 10 miles.
Well, we had confirmation of it down in Loudoun County, and
Yeah.
then we've had steady confirmation, multiple reports from Poolesville up until this point. Now, I will say this is still a very serious situation. You need to remain in that safe space if you are in Olney, Ashton, Brookville. But looking at this data on radar, the storm is weakening. That is good news. It is still a strong, potentially destructive storm, but it is not as strong as it has been over the past 45 minutes to an hour. So that is good news there. You need to remain in that safe space, but we are finally starting to see this storm weaken.
Okay, that's great news. So I'm going to zoom into Ashton. Again, this is the intersection of 108 and 650 New Hampshire Avenue. If you're in Bentley Road, I would take cover. Tree Lawn Drive, I would take cover. The good news is, as Caitlin mentioned, it looks like it's a little bit weaker, and it looks a little bit weaker in terms of the reflectivity, the rainfall, but that can also be deceiving. There's Bentley Road. There's Auburn Village Drive. And again, this is New Hampshire Avenue as it comes into Ashton across 108. I would please take cover. But also, we want you to take cover ahead of the storm. And so Ashton, yes, but now I'm kind of concerned around Brinklow, and as you go out 108, maybe Ednor, but I think it's going to be a little bit north of Ednor. And we're going to see shortly if they're going to issue this into Howard County. That will be the telltale sign if the storm is really weakening. I'm going to go in a little bit tighter, so I'm going to go up toward closer to Brinklow, up and on the east side of 650 and the north side of 108. So if you're anywhere in here, okay, off of these roads, take cover. That's Meek Hollow Road. Yeah, I know that well. Up 650. Okay, so now we have Route 29 and 216 and Laurel in the camera there. And that looks, well, it is getting dark at this point, but that's still pretty ominous out toward Laurel. Did you say 216, Benny? Oh, what do we have? We have video now. That was in Poolesville.
Phil,
Well,
Pete Parringer posted that.
There it is. I mean, there it is. I mean, there's just no doubt. You also see some that are also trying to be multi-vortex, but it's just one. And if you look carefully, I don't see any debris in it, but that is, I mean, that's as clear as it gets for us, pretty much. This is from Pete Parringer?
Yeah, we're not sure if he took the video, but he posted this in his
he did? Okay.
X account.
I mean, that's it. I mean, you see the rotation. We did not see the debris, but we were pretty far away from that, and it may have been over a pretty rural area, but that was impressive. All right, Brinklow to Ashton, Up toward Etchison, you need to take cover. I mean, I think that's where we're going to see what's left of the strong winds. And to just kind of widen out here a little bit, if we put things in perspective, now, I'm not so sure it stayed on the ground the entire way from Loudoun County, but essentially it came across the river, from near Leesburg, across into Gaithersburg, and now headed toward Olney and 650 New Hampshire Avenue. So that is, I mean, that's a pretty big path for us. We don't normally see a big path or a long path like that. We're going to come back out here. So there's Gaithersburg, okay. There's Darnestown. And so it could have been on the ground, I mean, just from over the river across Gaithersburg and headed toward Olney. If you're in Gaithersburg, you're fine, by the way, right now. Laytonsville, you're fine too. It's clipping along here. Olney, you're about to be okay. I think the real problems, as I mentioned, are off to the east of Olney, out 108 near Etchison, and those areas. That's where I would take cover. Still seeing some pretty good lightning, but it looks to me like it is weakening a bit. It has now crossed over into Howard County, but they have not issued anything up toward Dayton and out 32. So we'll see if they extend that, Chef. I don't know if they're going to extend that or not, but well, they did. Yeah, they did. So now we got Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, and Howard until 8:45. So they're not messing around with this storm at all. So the warning continues across the Montgomery County, Howard County line until 8:45. It ends in Montgomery County at 8:15. And really, looking at the radar, you can sort of see it's moved across, about to cross over into Howard County. Olney, you're fine now. And I think unless you're, kind of very close to the border here, I think you're okay in terms of wind. I mean, I would go right in here. You might see some strong winds around Brinklow, so you're way out 650. You're way out New Hampshire Avenue at this point.
Hey, Top.
Okay, we have an update on the structure? Yeah.
Can we give you an update?
Please.
Yeah, so we're hearing it was a tree onto the house, which then caused the house to collapse. And Zoe, what do we know about 911?
They're in contact with the folks who are apparently trapped inside at this moment. So we know, again, the tree collapsed onto the house, causing that to collapse, and some folks are trapped inside.
About 5
Where
people,
their
right?
condition. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is in Gaithersburg.
This is the house in Gaithersburg.
A residential house, tree came down. Okay, but people are there. I mean, they're in the process of rescuing them, right?
We're waiting to hear that.
Ready to hear that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is delayed. We're gonna keep you updated on that. That's the most serious situation we've seen from this storm. So yes, technically you guys are under the warning in Ednor, but I think now it's time to just sort of really look eastward up toward Clarksville, Howard County, and Baltimore County, Anne Arundel too until 8:45, just northern Anne Arundel County. So it looks a little weaker now, but I think it may pulse back up again, which is kind of what happened when it went from Leesburg across the river and then pulsed up again into Montgomery County. So they're not taking any chances on this.
Hey, Top, can we tell you there are a couple more structures that have collapsed, at least 2 more in Gaithersburg. That's what we're hearing about, something on Holly Drive and something on Rolling Drive.
Rolling Drive.
Rolling Road, 200 Rolling Road.
Rolling Road.
And 3 Holly Drive.
And we don't know if that's commercial in Gaithersburg.
We're not sure yet.
We're not sure yet.
We just got those in seconds ago.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you. We'll hopefully get some folks to those people trapped in the house in Gaithersburg, and get them out. I'm going to zoom back out. We have still a big storm here, but I think the highest winds are now off to the north and east of us in terms of Montgomery County, headed into Howard County, no doubt. And it is going to clip. It's going to go north of Laurel. The warning doesn't include our friends in Laurel, but it does Guilford, and it does northern Anne Arundel County. But Laytonsville, now you're fine. Gaithersburg, you're fine. Rockville, you're fine. So at least we'll be able to go to these places that need assistance now that the storm is moving out. And in terms of what's behind it, I don't see anything behind this one, but we have not checked in a minute. So let's go back out. Yeah, that's the last one right there. But we have warnings too up to the north in Carroll County, Baltimore County, and then that's the latest warning, okay, that goes until 8:45 for Anne Arundel, Baltimore, and Howard County. Just give you a heads up, we may not stay on the air for that, but we want you all to be safe also in Howard County and Anne Arundel County. But this warning in Montgomery County goes until 8:15, okay? And that's the warning that we're watching. I gotta think, Chef, that it's a weekend in terms of couplets back into the in Montgomery County, right?
It has. There is still a concerning signature right over Ashton. Nothing like what we saw earlier,
Okay.
but that is potentially where we're still seeing, at a minimum, damaging wind, if not a continued tornado. But this is just about to move into Howard County, into areas like Highland, Fulton. It is almost out of Montgomery County.
Okay. Well, that is good. But we see the warnings popping up in Baltimore and Carroll. And of course Anne Arundel. So we're going to go back in because this is still a very big storm and around Ashton. Look at all the lightning. Crazy amounts of lightning. So there's Laytonsville. You're clear now. Olney, you're clear. It's about to cross over up toward Dayton, Sykesville, Guilford. So now you don't want anybody driving up 95 between D.C. and Baltimore, 29 between D.C. and Baltimore. You want to stay off the roads. So hopefully everybody's home by now at 8 o'clock, but you never know. People work very late and weird hours in the metro. So if you know someone that isn't home, just tell them to stay at work, maybe in Columbia or Ellicott City. I think that's the best advice we can give you.
And Topper, just some additional information we're getting from the National Weather Service based off of what they know right now. And of course, we will not get an official report until they can survey it. But they say it appears the initial tornado went just to the south of Poolesville before dissipating. Then an additional tornado developed west of I-270 near Gaithersburg before tracking east of there. So someone sounds like they're going to go out and check it out this evening. I highly doubt we'll have that confirmed path until tomorrow, but it does appear like exactly what you've been talking about. It pulsed up, it pulsed down, and let's just hope it doesn't continue to do so.
Check that out. That's Ashton, and so that's in this area right here. It looks like it may have just kind of cleared them, but I think it's looking off to the east or northeast. That's why it looks so dark. It is a little disconcerting though, looking at part of that. This cloud's kind of hanging in the ground. There's Ashton there. And again, Ashton essentially is 650 and 108, New Hampshire Avenue 108. So that's more than likely you're in Ashton and you're looking that way. And that's why it looks a little light to the left and a little dark to the right. And, I don't know. I can't, you bring that full and put in the key for me. I mean, I don't know. So this is, exactly where this is from, Benny? Is it from 650? Or 108? It might be that. Yeah, that is the crossroads of Ashton. Yep. So that I think is a storm now that's leaving Ashton and headed toward Howard County. Although you still see the winds there. Look at the sign. It's still blowing. I mean, you don't have to be in the path of the tornado to have big winds. This storm is pretty powerful. Okay, let's go back to the maps. Anything you want to add?
No, just exactly what you mentioned, Hopper. Still seeing a strong storm for sure, but nowhere near the signatures that we'd been seeing with that rotation and resulting tornadoes from earlier this evening. So
some good news to share, and the warning in Montgomery County is going to expire here in about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll decide. Obviously we care about Anne Arundel County and Howard County and Baltimore County until 8:45, but then we may have to stay on if we have any more information on the folks trapped. So you guys keep me posted, Zoe, Leslie.
And Ben, if we have any of the videos or photos we've been sharing, preparing to show folks on air, would be a great time to share those. I mean, there's no doubt we have multiple videos and photos, especially from Montgomery County, around Gaithersburg, around Poolesville, of that funnel cloud on the ground, similar to the video we showed you from Pete in Montgomery County, PIO there. But
Which
no
was a
doubt.
Pretty stunning video, actually. I mean, so essentially we're thinking that it came across Leesburg, probably was on the ground at Leesburg, may have skipped up, came back at Poolesville, may have skipped up again, and then kind of went down around Gaithersburg, North Rockville area, and it may have skipped up again just before going into Olney. So this is the video we saw from Gaithersburg. Pete Perringer put this out for us, and I mean, there it is. I mean, that's it.
I believe this was Poolesville.
Oh, Poolesville area. Okay. That's Poolesville?
Yes, that's Poolesville.
That's
Okay,
Poolesville.
it was tweeted by someone else, but Pete was allowed to use it, and we're allowed to. Look at the rotation. You look carefully, you might see a little tiny bit of debris in there. And again, that's what causes all the injuries. And remember, our tornadoes are small. That's probably less than a football field wide. What's more impressive today is the track, because normally they're not more than a few hundred yards. The one that we got reports on a couple weeks ago was. This is live? Oh, it's video. Okay, it's a shot from Ashburn looking toward Poolesville. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. Now, sometimes we'll see a cloud come to like here and stop, and that's a funnel cloud. So funnel clouds don't ever touch down, but when the funnel cloud touches down, boom, then the tornado's on the ground. And you can sort of see how it kind of goes back up, okay? So that's probably pulsing up and down as well. But still, I mean, I think over a pretty good area, we had, you know, the tornado kind of on the ground for, you know, several miles. And we don't see that too often, I will say. I'm going to just go over here for a second, and I'm going to talk about, so let's say it came on the ground in Leesburg, right? Let's just, for the sake of argument, okay? And let's say it almost got to, it crossed over 270. That's 20 miles, okay? So that's a pretty good track for us, okay? So from Leesburg to just across 270, but short of Olney, is about 20 miles. So it looks to me like it was pulsing up and down in that same, on that track. And again, that is very unusual for us. The warning still is in effect for Montgomery County, but I got to tell you, we're okay. I think we can sound the okay, all clear here, because the storm is out of Montgomery County. It is essentially over into Howard County, and I think it has weakened a little bit, but they're not taking any chances with this. Yeah, so we're okay now in Montgomery County. Olney, you're fine. Ashton, you're fine. Ednor, you're fine. We're in pretty good shape. Not so fine if you are across into Howard County. 108 goes out into Howard County. So, you know, if you go out 108 further from Ashton, okay, up toward Clarksville and Sykesville and Simpsonville, you should take cover because it could be pulsing up again. It has no shortage of lightning either. But the good news is this will disappear on your screen here in a matter of seconds. And then I think we can safely say that in Montgomery County we're okay, and now Loudoun and Frederick we're okay. But Anne Arundel and Baltimore and Howard, nope, 8:45. Do you see it pulsing up again, or are you doing storm reports?
There is a very weak, very broad area of rotation, nothing like what we saw earlier as it tracked through Montgomery County, but still a very serious situation, and they did just drop it for Montgomery County. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that expired. So we just have this one for Anne Arundel, Baltimore, and Howard County until 8:45. Okay.
Hey, Todd, we want to show you the a map really quickly. We were telling you about the collapses a little earlier.
Yep.
In Gaithersburg, and we have a map showing you just how close they are in proximity here. We were telling you about the one on Dogwood Drive, Holly Drive, and Rolling Road, and these all appear to be homes. Okay. We know that the one on Dogwood Drive, a tree fell on top of that home, causing the house to collapse, and we know that 5 people were apparently trapped inside. 911, first responders have made contact with those folks. We're waiting to get an update on their conditions, but you can just see just how close all of this is. All of this happening just, east of 270, it looks like there?
Yeah, and we talked about Diamond Avenue, very close to Diamond Avenue, kind of in between 355 and Diamond Avenue, yeah.
Can we show you some more damage? Now, this is also some damage from Gaithersburg as well. And as you said, a lot of times it's the tree that comes down that causes all of the additional problems. Not exactly sure where this is, but we do know that this is in Gaithersburg, and you can see here the community really coming together in this situation, as these things typically do, bring us together to help clean up and move the tree out of the way so it's not obstructing the road.
Yeah, and you talked about this at the top of the hour as well, Top, when we were talking with Pete Peringer. You know, there weren't a lot of reports of damage or people calling in, but it was going to be, minutes, hours later when we see these moments here.
And
Yeah.
I did just hear from our Katie Lusso. She is heading to the scene of 400 Dogwood Drive, 3 Holly Drive, and 200 Rolling Road. She said they're all around the block from each other. So that is good news in that it's a very isolated area of that significant damage. She said she's going to be there in 45 minutes. And of course, we'll bring you those updates as soon as we get them from her.
Right. So essentially, if we kind of pan a little bit back to the west, I kind of put this in perspective for you. So there's Montgomery Village, there's Germantown, there's Gaithersburg. I'll probably zoom out just a little bit. So we think it was one tornado pulsing. There's another little storm back to the west. So I'll zoom out one more time. So we think it could have been on the ground, let's say on and off, from like Leesburg across around Poolsville, and then probably just south of Germantown, maybe just crossing over I-270 there. If it went any further than that, we don't know. But you guys were under the warning here, but it seemed to weaken once it took that path. And again, I used our little tool on radar, and it's about 20 miles. So that's probably the close to the path of it. I mean, maybe not exactly, but probably close to the path of the tornado. And again, it may not have been on the ground consistently. Again, they tend to skip up and down, but I think it was on the ground more than not over those 20 miles. That's what it looks like to me. So we still have the warning, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, and Howard County until 8:45. So you're still, you got to still take cover. I mean, and take this seriously. This is still a big storm, and it may pulse up again. They do that. So even though it's kind of weakening now, doesn't mean it can't, pulse back up again. So again, we'll take it this way for you. So there's the storm headed toward Glen Burnie, and the warning goes to 8:45. Columbia. So you don't want anybody going in between Baltimore and D.C. right now, up 95 or 29. Not a good idea. But good news for most of the rest of Montgomery County and Loudoun County. It's okay. In Frederick County, we're okay. This is a storm. It's seemed to form behind it, but it looks weaker. But it's still got some rain in it. But that's about it. But there's where the storms are now, crossing into Baltimore, over toward just east of Laurel, and then there's another storm down here in southern Maryland, which is not severe, but this looks like a pretty good storm. We don't want to forget our friends down in southern Maryland here, so let's go ahead and look at this. Yeah, Leonardtown, Mechanicsville, you've got some pretty good rainfall. I would say rainfall rates probably close to an inch, maybe not quite. Let's see if we hit it just right, we might get an inch out of it. Let's see, boom. Yeah, well, 1.24 inches per hour. Okay, so that's kind of between Leonardtown and Mechanicsville, and that is drifting off to the east. So get ready for Solomons and Prince Frederick, and it's going to move across the bay into the Delmarva. So that is not a severe storm, but a pretty heavy storm at this point. I think we've had enough severe storms. Let's go back out here, and we'll look at this one storm. That's still a heck of a storm there, but this is a little pulse up. This storm pulsed up in Montgomery County. I don't think it's going to become severe, but it may add insult to injury here. Let's kind of go back up to here. So this is on the west side of 270. Yeah, it's not severe, but it's kind of insult to injury here between Germantown and Poolsville. There's still some rain, but that will not last more than 20 minutes, and then I think that'll be okay. So I'm showing you that because I think people, crews can get to folks if there's problems and they need help. That won't cause any big problems or hindrance in terms of getting emergency crews where they need to go right now. So we'll go back out. Any other updates damage-wise? I mean, this is still a warning, okay, for our friends in Howard County, but except for a couple of light showers, we're not in bad shape. And that one storm in southern Maryland, not bad. But we've had confirmed tornado in Loudoun County, confirmed tornado in Montgomery, and we all think it's probably the same tornado that just kind of skips up and down. And again, what they're going to do, Weather Service will go out and look at it, and they'll look at the path, and they'll look at the type of destruction and see if it's straight line or if trees are scattered, which indicates rotation. The only thing you had to be concerned about with rotation and debris in terms of pattern is sometimes a downburst can leave trees scattered in a circular pattern and can kind of appear to be a tornado. But in this case, since we've seen the tornado on the ground, we know all the damage will be tornadic. and not downburst. So we're going to, we'll wait for the Weather Service to go out and look. They'll pick some spots to look, and they'll eventually come out with the strength of the tornado, the width, and the path of the tornado. And that may take more than a day. If they have 20 miles to survey, from like Leesburg across 270, that may take more than a day, but we'll see. They'll get on as soon as they can. Little shower out toward Fairfax. It's kind of pulsed up a little bit out toward Germantown, but it's not severe. All the severe activity is now north of us. The front finally is lifting out north. So we had a warm front move through this morning, and then it kind of kinked and became stationary back into Panhandle of West Virginia. Then that floated eastward, and that's what triggered these storms. Now it's north of us. Now tomorrow, we have to wait for a cold front to come through. That's going to pulse up a couple of showers and storms, but right now they're going to be pretty much few and far between. Not a bad day tomorrow, albeit hot, but that cold front tomorrow sets up a very nice end of the week and weekend.
And Topper, worth noting real quick before we, continue to wrap things up here at 8:16 rather, the National Weather Service did confirm a tornado was located near Highland. That's in southeastern Howard County. So worth noting that once again, that tornado has been confirmed on the ground. That's the same tornado that moved through Montgomery County.
You all some information about these collapses. So the one on Dogwood Road, apparently 4 people had to be removed. 1 person was trapped, and there had to be some sort of technical removal, and 1 person was transported for trauma. And then in the 200 Holly Drive home, there was 1 person removed, and that person is being assessed right now to be transported. So this was a serious storm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy serious. I mean, and it looks to me, given what Caitlin just said, that it pulsed up again in Howard County.
Wow.
So it kind of weakened a little bit. There's the video from Gaithersburg.
Yes.
I think these guys need a chainsaw. If you ever tried to move a limb or a tree, they're way heavier than you think. Way heavier than you think. I'm going to see if, let's see one thing here.
And worth just taking a minute to listen to that video.
By any chance? Find out where this video is coming from. Sorry about that, Caitlin. You were going to say?
I was just going to say, worth just listening to that video. You could hear all of the sirens just really painting the picture of what was going on in that area. I did see a similar video to what we just saw near Gaithersburg High School. Cannot confirm that that is the same video, but a similar scene in parts of Gaithersburg High School right on that Frederick Avenue that we were telling you about, of a similar scene with all of those large trees down across the road.
I want to just see what we have here in terms of storm reports. It's probably what you guys have been saying, but it kind of puts things in perspective a little bit. So there's the tornado, okay? So let's say it was, on the ground around Leesburg and then through Rockville, across 270, and now maybe even into Howard County. Not saying it's on the ground for 38 miles, but it was skipping on and off the ground for maybe 38 miles, which is very, very unusual for us. I mean, it really is. And you can, this is the tornado icon right here. So there's where, again, this will be confirmed tomorrow, but this one around Poolsville, again, that's one of the ones around Poolsville. So again, we're pretty sure they're going to be confirmed because we saw a video of it. This is the one, Germantown, okay, and significant damage. And then this one, of course, this one around Gaithersburg, we know it's bad because we have reports of some folks trapped in a house. I'm optimistic. I think they're going to be okay, but we've got collapsed structure around the city of Gaithersburg. That's what we've been talking about. So hopefully, everything will be okay with those folks. But in terms of what's ahead for us, I mean, it's not, we're in pretty good shape right now, I think, right? Yeah. So here's the radar past couple of hours, and wow, look at that storm. I mean, it's now moving across 95, headed toward Baltimore. Baltimore's going to get rocked. But I think the good news is once this goes through, I think we're in pretty good shape for the rest of the night. I know the flood watch is, well, I don't know. The flood watch has been trimmed back. We'll get to that in a second. But this is, essentially the end of the severe weather. Now, we might have a shower tonight, okay? And we also, might see some patchy fog tonight once again, because all the areas that had the storms earlier. So this is radar past couple of hours, and that's what it looked like. We'll zoom in now a little bit. So this is the only warning we have: Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, and Howard, and that is at 8:50. It goes until 8:45 tonight. Nothing warning in the metro area. Now we have an update from the damage reports. Leslie Zoe.
Yeah, so we can tell you that we've obviously had 3 such houses where there have been these concerns, and we're going to go to Nick Kurtz, who is at the Dogwood and Tulip location, to tell us a bit more about what he is seeing. Nick, hopefully this is not someone that's in your family, that you're okay, but can you give us some idea of what you're seeing and what we should know?
Hi, Leslie. Yes, thank you. Thankfully, my family is safe. It's down the street from where my house is. We did take shelter as we were following along with reports. It's a pretty big scene here of destruction of the one particular house on the corner here at Dogwood Drive and Tulip Drive. There's a number of volunteer firefighters from Laytonsville, as well as Montgomery County Fire and Rescue here. I've spoken with some of the neighbors here that are all out concerned. It seems like a pretty close neighborhood. It sounds like about 5, possibly 6 folks are being treated. Saw one ambulance leave with apparently 1 patient, and a number of folks here that are being treated on scene. As far as the destruction goes, a pretty big tree came down, took the roof completely off the top of this house and into the main section of the house through the living room. And I've sent some photos in. I don't know if you're able to see them, but it looks like there's some pretty extensive damage to the structure itself. And I'd be surprised if anybody's going to be living in this house anytime soon. So,
Wow.
Yeah, we're getting those pictures in just a moment, Nick. And the scene we're talking about here with you is what Les mentioned to you just a short time ago about the one person who had to be removed using a technical rescue team. We know that 5 people in all were inside of that home. Their injuries are being assessed at the moment. So, Nick, we know that you're looking at this home here. You say a large tree went down on this house, sort of the main portion of this home. What about the rest of that neighborhood, some of the other homes there? Do they seem to be okay?
yeah, it's quite interesting to see the isolation of certain damage. This neighborhood and a lot of Gaithersburg suburbs are known for a lot of old growth, some really old trees, 40 and 50-year-old trees that kind of dot these streets, and some of them are 50, 60 feet tall. So thankfully, the majority of the trees are up, and the majority of the neighborhood seems to have minor damage, some roof tiles here and there, some limbs down on a car here or there. My street that I live nearby had a tree come down, but it was so interesting to see immediately about 10, 15 neighbors from my community came out, one with a chainsaw, immediately started going at it, and it seems like it's quite a quick cleanup that folks are trying to get back to normal here. But thankfully, it seems the damage is fairly isolated to certain large trees that have come down.
Hey, Nick, if you were there at the time as this was happening, can you give us a sense of what it sounded like? What did it feel like? Take us back to the moment where all this chaos is occurring in your community.
Yeah, I mean, once we heard the alerts, we have a backyard area. Then we got everybody back inside, and everybody I knew was quickly getting into their basements or their safest areas. Definitely had some winds pick up very quickly, very suddenly, and then just as quickly as they came, they left. Thankfully, I was maybe less than a mile away from where it seems like the center of this storm hit, so I didn't quite get the full brunt of some of the train whistle sounds that they sound like it typically comes in. But everybody I've spoken to here said a lot of rattling of windows, a lot of big whirling sounds, very quickly in and out. And now it seems like the neighbors are just trying to see what's next, if they can get in and out of their homes, and how they can help clean up. But definitely a scary moment when you're near all of the chaos that goes on with a severe weather warning. And definitely wanted to make sure that my family was safe. But it seems like, thankfully, most families here took everybody's advice.
Yeah, and we're glad to hear that you're okay and your family's okay. We're looking at some of the video and the pictures you sent in to us earlier, Nick, right there along 400 Dogwood Drive, and we can just see this home there, or what's left of it, is just blanketed in trees here. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening around you right now?
Yeah, police and fire have done a good job of blocking off the road from any through traffic and are keeping people at a safe distance out of concerns. Right now, where this house is, there's no major wires down, but on my way to this scene, I did pass by a couple of streets that did have some power poles down, potential live wires, so best to keep everybody at a safe distance in those situations. Like I said, a lot of old growth, so a lot of trees blocking roads. But it does seem like that the situation is as under control as authorities are able to get at this point, and everyone in the neighborhood is trying to keep a safe distance while hoping and praying for everyone to recover and watch the cleanup happen. So.
Yeah, and as we're talking to you right now, Nick, we're getting word of another tree down into a home along the 100 block of Winnie Place there in Gaithersburg, about a mile or so away from where you are. And we have to let you know and tell you and remind you to be careful as you head back to your home, because Montgomery County Fire is saying they're seeing debris and trees down everywhere. So they're urging a lot of folks to stay off the roads in the area where you are right now, especially is it dark out yet? Especially as it gets darker.
Yeah. Nick, listen, thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in. You are obviously part of the WUSA 9 family too, so it's good to hear your voice and glad to hear that everybody is going to be okay. Thank you for doing what we do when we respond to these things, which is doing what we can to get the information out there to share with everyone else.
Absolutely. Kudos to the entire weather team there, and to you, Leslie and Lorenzo, for keeping everybody informed.
Good to hear your voice. All right, so
thanks so much.
We've been talking about how many of these homes have been impacted by what happened today in Gaithersburg, and it's a reminder, right, that when we talk about these potential warnings and watches, that people need to be engaged with them, and 2, they need to act when they hear from you and from Caitlin that there is a warning that they need to take heed.
Yeah, it was good hearing Nick say he took cover.
Yeah.
That is good. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a question of, like, when you hear us talk about a warning, then you know it's actually happening, okay? And we're not asking for, like, hours of your time. We just want you to be safe with your family. Often it just takes harboring and sheltering in place for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And that's sort of the case today with this one storm. And yes, all the severe weather is now off to the north and east of us. In fact, it's about to clear Baltimore. A couple more showers, but I just checked the surface map. Guess where the frontal boundary is? Well, it's right up here, okay? So it's north of us. So that mechanism is what triggered the showers this morning in the form of a warm front, and the storms this evening, as a stationary front kind of drifted across. Those mechanisms are gone now. So I think overnight we're in pretty good shape in terms of not much in terms of anything heavy. A shower possible, yes. We'll keep the rumble of thunder in, especially out to the north and west of us, out toward Cumberland and Hagerstown. We still have this warning, 8:45, so another 10 minutes for Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, and Howard County. It's a little sliver of Anne Arundel County. And again, that means that's the same storm that potentially put tornadoes down in a line from Leesburg across Gaithersburg over into Howard County. So that's pretty impressive for us, and kind of unusual. I think we have a phoner now, you guys. Zoe?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of calls in from some eyewitnesses as well. We have Mark Molness, who's on the phone with us now from Gaithersburg. Hi, Mark.
Hey, how are you doing?
First off, how are you? How's your family?
Oh, they're all good.
Well, we're glad to hear that for sure. We're looking at some video that you have were able to take today. I believe that we see it. If we don't have it right now, we will have it shortly. Oh, we have it up right now.
It's up. Yeah.
Mark, this is really some incredible video that you were able to capture near Gaithersburg High School when it was happening.
Yeah.
Tell us what you were doing at the time and when you knew you needed to raise your camera to capture it.
Oh, so I had this dream of actually chasing tornadoes, and I took this opportunity to try to find it. So I just went to that area, and I was told Gaithersburg High School were heading there. So I just went there, and I got trapped in the tornado.
Yeah, and we're looking at this video here, and everything seems to be calm from what we're seeing at the moment. What was it like for you at the time?
It was calm. I was approaching, as you see in the video, I was approaching the traffic light, and then a gust of wind just started picking up, and then you just see the tornado on top of me.
Ah, okay. So you were driving at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah, okay. And so when you saw this sort of coming through, you captured it. What was happening around you? What were other people doing in the cars near you?
Everyone was just stopping because all the power lines were going out. You just saw the power lines snap and all these trees flying in the air.
And Mark, I saw you wrote on X that
you
there
know
was
what,
a
actually,
moment where
we've got some clarity on the video that we showed, because I think we showed some video that wasn't quite the video that you shot. You shot video while you were sitting in traffic, driving with other cars around you, correct?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, and looking at that video now, Mark, it looks awful. You can see a lot of debris kind of sort of swirling around. The trees are billowing in the wind there, and a few flashes. What are you thinking in that moment as you sit in your car?
I was just thinking. I was just prepared for impact.
Wow.
Did you know that there was any kind of tornado watch or warning today, or were you learning as you were driving today?
So I was actually at home, and then I got the notifications, and I just wanted to chase the tornado.
Ah, okay, yeah, and we can see we can see what's happening. And when Topper and Caitlin were talking about these debris, the debris sort of moving the balls of debris, we can see quite a bit of that in your video. Were you concerned about your safety at all?
Oh yeah, I even felt my car or my truck lift a little bit too.
Oh, that's
probably
not good.
Fell off the ground, yeah. But luckily it wasn't as strong as I thought it'd be.
What was it like for the folks around you at the time? I mean, you wanted to go out to sort of chase these storms. I can imagine that most of the folks around you were not trying to do that at the time.
So as you can see, in the car in front of me, he just paused, and then the cars around, I think a few other cars were also trying to drive away from it.
Yeah, and you see these trees in front of you. I'm looking at them swaying back and forth, just blowing in the wind there. What was your concern? Were you worried about one of those trees potentially snapping and hitting you at some point? Were those power poles collapsing?
Like I said, I was just prepared for anything at that point.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're glad to hear you're okay. I'm not sure our folks here would have encouraged you to go out in the middle of a tornado.
No.
No. Don't do it.
Yeah, you can see it right here.
But before we
would
let
not.
you go, this is the video right here. Top, I know you may want to say a couple things as you're watching here.
Well, yeah, we won't go into him sitting there, but I guess he had no choice. You see the debris flying around, see the little branches and stuff in front of the van there. It's not as dark as you might think. Kind of interesting. But you can see some pretty strong winds. We see the lightning flash or the electrical flashes there. Did we ever see the actual funnel cloud, Mark, or not?
I think in the beginning of that video, you can literally see the little cloud at in front of me hit that car. I think. I don't know if that was it or not, but I think it was.
Okay. We do see some at the very least funnel clouds in your video. See, look at the shingles on that guy's roof. Yeah. Yeah. So that tells me the winds are at least 50 to 60. Asphalt shingles will come off like 50 to 60 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah,
They're
you can
hitting
see the sparks right there as well. Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're safe. We don't want to encourage anybody else to do that during a storm, because it can be a dangerous thing. And just like those trees came down onto homes, trees can fall onto cars too, as can debris. So we're glad you're okay. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and we hope you're home safe now.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Brad.
Don't do it again.
All right.
I mean, good stuff, but don't do it again. So this was Chris just handed me this. So we've got significant damage to the Seneca Water Resource Recovery Facility as a result of the tornado. So that's not good. We'll see if that impacts drinking water or anything up in that area.
And Topper, if our directors back there behind the scenes can actually take my graphics, we can show you. We've been talking a lot about this area of Dogwood Drive, right, that our Katie Lusso is heading out to, where we have had multiple reports of structure collapses. We can give you a better idea of exactly where this is, because again, a lot of the most significant damage reports we've been getting of those trees down on structures with people trapped inside have been in a really isolated area. We know there have been multiple areas of touchdown for those confirmed tornadoes, but this does seem to be at this time the area that we have the most damage coming out of. So again, right at the intersection there, you can see of Dogwood and Tulip, that home there with the brown roof, Topper, right off to the, that one right there. That is where we have confirmed that a tree came down on that home. People had to be removed with what sounds like extenuating circumstances, extra equipment to get the tree off of that home. So I do want to take it kind of slow here and zoom out so you can see exactly where this is. There's Gaithersburg High School, and we did see some damage reports of trees covering 355, and taking out a little bit farther, you'll see 270 here, just to give you an idea of exactly where we did see the most significant damage that we've heard of so far, right there in Gaithersburg, just to the south there of East Diamond Drive. And that really lines up with where we've seen most of the damage reports and where we saw that really solid signature on radar of a potential and what we know was eventually a confirmed tornado.
Yeah, we mentioned Tulip Lane a lot, and I'm glad we did. That was fantastic. We got right into the house. So now we have more damage. Is this the house in question?
Drive.
That is Dogwood Drive. And are the folks out?
So we know that 5 people were inside at the time. 4 had to be rescued. 1 person was pinned and needed the technical rescue team to get them out.
Look at all the trees that are down. It just wasn't like one tree. I mean, they must have been right in the path of that rotating column of air. I mean,
boy, when you see that, you see why Nick said there is no chance that these folks will be getting back into this house anytime soon. But luckily, they have escaped with their lives, and so I suppose that is the good news tonight.
And Topper, worth noting, we now have a tornado warning that covers a large section of Baltimore. This was a new warning that was just issued. We know a lot of folks have loved ones in the area. That is now in effect until 9:30 this evening.
Right, and that's exactly where that front is. That's lifting out to the north and what triggered our round of severe weather. Okay, it goes till 9:30. So I guess that's good news then. So we can safely say, Leslie, that they're all okay in the house on Holly Drive?
You know, I don't know that we know that with the last report.
Yeah, their conditions being assessed.
Right, that was the last report we had.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is the tornado warning that Caitlin was talking about up in Baltimore, and we do have friends up in Baltimore. I have a goddaughter that lives up in Baltimore. So this goes until 9:30. This one goes until 8:45, but that's pretty much inconsequential right now. It's this one in Baltimore that is really of the greatest concern right now, Lithicum, and just to the east of Elk Ridge. So Lansdowne, 895, and Brooklyn. This is very, most likely where the tornado could be. If not, we're still looking at strong winds. So that goes until 9:30. Includes Baltimore City proper, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County until 9:30. Catonsville, you're probably okay. Ellicott City, you're okay now. The storm has moved off to your east, so you're in pretty good shape. But Lansdowne, get ready. And that's Lansdowne, Maryland. That you need to take cover there. This is covering up the city of Baltimore.
Lithicum is over by BWI.
Yes, it is.
So
I imagine they have ground stoppage.
Yeah.
We can confirm that. I would imagine we have ground stoppage there. Okay, so we'll zoom back out. So that's the warning. And we also have a flash flood warning now till 11:15 for Baltimore and Hartford counties. And that was always kind of on the table because we had the flood watch. And that was our main concern. When we said tornadoes were possible, but flooding was a bigger concern today initially with the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. So, wow. But if we zoom back out, I mean, I think we're in pretty good shape. I mean, there's not much behind this, maybe a sprinkle. So we have time to clean up a little bit from the storms. It's not quite totally dark yet, so it's close.
Yeah.
But not quite yet, you know. And so, you know, we have a couple of sprinkles here and there. That's actually radar. That's ground clear. That's nothing. Maybe you go out toward Winchester, Harrisonburg, and Charlottesville, you have a couple of showers. So we're going to keep the chance of a shower in, for the next few hours. But in terms of severe weather, that is with the front, which is now up in Baltimore. So that, I guess, is the best news we have, from our perspective. And it's not uncommon. So
all right,
we had
Top,
all these warnings.
Topper, we're going to stop you for a second so we can get into an interview that's occurring right now with Pete Pieringer. He's giving us an update on the Gaithersburg situation.
So these people were trapped in the house, a very large tree, a lot of debris. The roof essentially came down, the walls came down in the single-family house. They were trapped under all that. Firefighters did pull them out. So the traumatic injuries are not necessarily life-threatening in this case, but they are serious compared to the other injuries. So again, 5 people were in this house. One of the injuries was traumatic. The other, everybody, all 5 are being transported to the hospital.
The one traumatic patient?
Yes, all 5 were. Yep. Yeah, I think there are some isolated areas. The street lights are on this particular street, but there are widespread areas of power outage, wires down, and a lot of debris in the roadway. So we're asking anybody to treat any down wires as if they're live, stay away from them. And same thing with debris. There's a lot of debris, particularly in this area.
Yep. This is 19415, approximately 1915, approximately 15, 44 evaluation, select email,
Yes, they're all in the same general area, Rolling Drive and Holly Drive, and we're here on Dogwood. So if I could be so kind to cut out on you and get to these other folks here, but we'll have a further update later.
So you're listening to Pete Pieringer there. It looks like he's doing an interview with another outlet, answering some of those questions that are being lodged at him in his earpiece there. But he's right there along the 400 block of Dogwood Drive. He's answering our questions right now. Let's listen in.
On NBC4, but at this point we have had what we believe a tornado has struck in this area of Deer Park. We're in Gaithersburg, just off of Summit Avenue near North Frederick Avenue. This all started, the storms rolled through probably the Poolsville area a little before 7 o'clock. There were a number of watches and warnings. We believe there were multiple tornadoes, Poolsville, Germantown, and Gaithersburg. And Olney, and we have had damage. In this particular neighborhood, not far from here, we're at Dogwood and Tulip. We've had 3 structures, one on Dogwood, one on Rolling Drive, and the other on Holly Drive. All 3 were trees struck a house, people were trapped. This one was the most significant as far as people trapped. We had 5 people in the home here on Dogwood. They were all removed by firefighters. Rescued by firefighters, and all 5 people have been transported to the hospital. One of them has traumatic injury. Again, this area has numerous wires down, debris in the roadway. We're still assessing the situation, and again, that's the latest here from Gaithersburg.
Do you have any other info on other regions in the county that were affected? Poolsville?
Yeah, so initially the warning was, first warning was for northwest Montgomery County and Poolsville area, which we did have some pictures, in fact, of funnel clouds. I talked to some people during the storm, and they were hunkered down, and they did have some damage, none as significant as here. That continued, the storm apparently moved down towards the Soccerplex, Germantown area, continued to move towards Gaithersburg, a more populated area, and we have 3 homes in this neighborhood that have had significant damage. again, people were trapped in all these houses. All this time, again, this is going into the 7:30, 7:45, and I believe the warning was extended to 8:15. All this time, there were also calls for lightning strikes, numerous car wrecks, wires down. Our communication center handled hundreds of calls in a relatively short period of time. But again, the most significant damage, as far as I know, that I've seen, is right here on Dogwood Street in Gaithersburg area.
Pete, let me ask you about the incident here. Is it the house behind you? Was it a tree down? Did the roof collapse? Did the structure collapse? What can you tell us about the particular incident?
Yeah, so if you look behind me there, that's the actual root structure there. Very large tree. Went through the center of the house, trapped some people. It looks like it was a bedroom. Of course, you can't tell the type of room it is now. They were trapped under there. A lot of debris. Our technical rescue team did come in here and were able to get them out along with the first responders from Gaithersburg. All of them had injuries. One had traumatic injury. But again, a very large tree crushed this house in this particular area. The other two homes nearby on Rolling Drive and Holly Drive, same fate, not as dramatic. We did rescue and remove some people from those homes as well, but I don't think that there were any serious injuries in those two instances. Otherwise, damage assessments are still being done, but I believe there's some in Olney area, up in the Poolsville, Germantown area, maybe some damage, but I'm not aware of any structure damages. You can go a couple blocks from here on North Frederick Avenue, in fact, see wires down and trees and debris along West Deer Park Road, also, which is across Frederick Avenue.
Can you
as
say
far as,
anything?
as far as a traumatic injury, can you elaborate on the injury? That person was pinned down. Can you also say, was it the tree that pinned that person down or a part of the house? What can you elaborate on that?
No, I can't really. I don't know. But the tree crushed the house, so the tree and the house were on top of these people.
Can you say anything about the extraction operation? Was there anything in particular you could tell us about that? About how the team got them out, how long it might have taken, what the assets, what it required?
So we had real good information from the get-go that people were trapped, the number of people, where they were trapped. So the first responders from the Gaithersburg station were able to get here very quickly. They were able to make some additional assessment, check the people, verified where they were. We did have assets from our technical rescue, which basically comes from Quince Orchard or Darnestown. So they have a rapid response to this area as well. They have a high level of expertise. They have lots of equipment, and they were able to get the people out relatively soon, maybe about 20 minutes. And again, we had the ambulance bus, I believe, is transporting them all to a local trauma center, or at least one of them is going to a trauma center. Others are probably going to a local hospital. So, it went fairly smoothly, but we have the resources and we're able to accomplish that fairly quickly.
How many people were trapped?
5 people were in the house. They were all trapped.
Can you say anything
in this particular house? The other 2 homes also had people trapped, not to this degree, but we assisted people out of the other 2 houses as well.
And their ages?
I don't have all that yet.
Okay. And did you say everyone was injured, or one person was pinned down? How many were rushed to the hospital?
All 5 were taken to the hospital. One had traumatic injuries, the other not so bad.
And could you say, it might be, forgive me if I missed this, but was this a tornado definitely touched down here, or was it heavy winds, or what do we know about what weather specifically caused this?
Yeah, I'm not a meteorologist, but we have to wait for them to assess it to determine that for sure. But we do have pictures of funnel clouds. The damage is indicative of what would be a tornado. And again, this is not the only spot where we have damage like this. Personally have a number of pictures of funnel clouds. So I don't know if it was the same storm or multiple funnel clouds, but again, we have pretty good reason to believe it was a tornado that hit this area.
You saw some of these?
No, I got pictures.
Oh, pictures, okay.
And you've been with fire and rescue for years. Just what's going through your head seeing the damage out here?
Well, it's always, it has a huge impact on the community. Certainly, we're glad that everybody got out and is being taken care of. That's our main concern, everybody's safety. Now, I think there's a lot of danger as far as it's getting dark. There's lots of wires down, a lot of debris. It's a pretty dangerous situation for everyone, so we're asking people to stay away from this area. But if you see a wire down, just treat it as it's live. I think that the people during the warnings were well timed and good information came out. Multiple platforms where people were alerted. I talked to a few people in the Poolsville area. They were hunkered down in the basement, so people, did their due diligence and sheltered out. So these people really had nowhere to go on the first floor of this house. But again, I think people heeded the warnings, and it proved that to be the case.
So they were on the first floor.
Yeah.
Two-story house? One story, do you know?
I think it's a one-story house.
One story, yeah.
I think,
Anything else you'd like to say or think
No,
our
well-
viewers need to know? We're actually live on Fox 5 right now.
all right, good. No, just the fact that right now, going forward, it's very dangerous. I think because of the wires down and other debris. This neighborhood was particularly hard hit. We're still getting information in from other areas, Olney, Poolsville, Germantown in particular. Even across Route 355, West Deer Park area, had some damage that police officers were telling me about. So, but this area seems to be Deer Park neighborhood, which is off the Summit Avenue.
All right, you've been listening to Pete Perringer, spokesperson for Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, on a very busy night for rescuers. As we've been telling you, there have been a number of confirmed tornadoes, and we'll talk a bit more with Topper and Caitlin about that. But in terms of the damage, Pete was standing not too far from the home where the most significant damage was on Dogwood Street, where there were 5 people trapped inside that home. All of them eventually had to be taken to the hospital, one of them with some traumatic injuries because a tree fell right through the middle of that home.
Yeah, just imagine that, causing that structure to collapse. And he said this wasn't the only home. They had another response along Holly Drive, also Rolling Road. These homes not too far away from each other. So this is what Fire and Rescue, they're dealing with right now. The other big concern tonight that Pete Perringer mentioned, those down wires and trees. It's dark out right now. So he says, if you step outside, if you have to drive somewhere, make sure you're okay or you're cautious because some of those wires may be live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's
So
get back to
also-
Top. You want to take us out of here, Tom?
Yeah, but also, I mean, the wire's good point, yes. And also, when it's dark, though, there could be a tree down, and you won't see it until you hit it with your car. I mean, so if you've called people and told them not to come home yet, but now they're like on their way home, and they're driving into an area, a neighborhood that's damaged, much like the derecho, I mean, it was very dangerous to drive because there's trees and limbs down you just can't see until it's too late. You just can't do it. So here's the radar. Past couple of hours, boom, there are the big storms exiting Baltimore. There still are some tornado warnings for our friends up in Baltimore. There's a couple of light showers back toward Cumberland and Romney, but for the most part, I think we are done with the heavy storms tonight. However, we have the flood watch in effect until 10. And then we'll come back at 11. We'll talk about the possibility of some more storms tomorrow as a cold front rolls through.
Okay, well, we're done with the storms for right now, and a lot of folks are stepping outside to sort of assess the damage, so we're going to keep our eyes on the area as well throughout the evening.
Yeah, miraculously, one of our producers checked in with the FAA, and BWI Marshall, National, and Dulles have some delays of 15 minutes or less, but flights are still taking off. What a night here in the DMV as we encapsulate a very serious storm across our area. We'll be covering all of this on air and online. We will see you back here at 11 p.m. with all the very latest.